once again, this guy has his shoes on, unlike the rest of us.
Because professional, you're in your pajamas.
So,
Baseball shirt, pajamas, and PlayStation VR
we're
sunglasses.
trying to get a homely feeling.
Homely feeling?
Yeah.
We got that. Let me see. Yep, we got the homely covered.
I'm not wearing my press sticker.
That looks like the way it's set up right now on my screen is like an amazing cover photo.
Oh yeah, that is great. Except my head.
Get a screenshot.
No, it's
Check.
All print screen.
Do they have to be like, I don't see all the lights on. Do they need to be on? Oh.
Control all print
Right.
screen.
Maybe you weren't wearing these PlayStation VR sunglasses.
They're amazing.
There was a guy in the media room that had those on today.
Ugh.
Like when we were waiting for you guys.
on purpose.
On
I'm
purpose,
not even
unless
gonna
they
continue.
lost a bet.
I thought the guy checking me out at the PlayStation store was our Airbnb guy. Did you see
Might have
him?
been.
He had on sunglasses and a ball
my
cap.
rap
He was
album.
like, "Yeah, I'll take the Comes up, I'm like, all right, bud. How you doing, buddy?
What was he saying with the
Tell
bomb?
me when you got this shit from me.
Oh yeah, he's like, boom.
We ready?
He's taking a screenshot of our cover album.
Okay.
He fucked it up.
Killer color forever.
What are you gonna name yours?
Oh.
Mine's Scarface.
It's already
Oh,
starting.
oh,
Tell
oh.
Little John to lose
Oppa
his shades.
Gangnam Style. What?
Yeah.
You talking about me?
What? Okay.
We ready?
Is everyone on?
These have UV protection, I'll have you know.
Do they though?
Yes, they do. They had a
They do.
sticker on them.
Did anybody check the recorder?
Or,
No, I meant like I just don't see all the 6 lights on. I don't know.
yeah, they are.
I said the exact same thing.
I see 3 from here. I'm sorry.
1, 2,
that's all
3,
I'm
4, 5, 6. I got 7.
saying. All right.
Well, the 7th is because we're recording.
Oh.
Yeah. Wednesday night from E3 2017, and we're all done with everything, and I guess we'll talk about the day. So who wants to start us off? Josh, you went and saw God of War.
I did.
Was the beard just lovely and powerful?
It's the same thing you guys saw,
Yeah.
except had Corey Barlog there, giving us a rundown, play-by-play, as we went through the video, and he talked about little details, things like that. We had a little Q&A with everybody in the room. There were questions about where the idea came from and why take him to Norse mythology, stuff like that. I'm going to write all this up, though.
This sounds like the stuff from last year.
What was interesting, though, was he was saying like a lot of the Kratos and son stuff came from a lot of the development team that are parents now and that have been dealing with all that, and those moments, those kind of magical moments that you get with kids where they open your eyes to something. You take them somewhere for the first time, somewhere you've been a million times, and you take them there for the first time, and suddenly you see it through their eyes, and everything's different.
Like
So
the men's bathroom at a rest stop.
exactly.
Or
Uh,
at Jersey Mike's.
so they were getting into all that, and it was pretty cool. There was a lot of detail that you probably wouldn't have even noticed just watching the trailer. So that was very much worth it. It was fun.
No, cool. Yeah, I really like what I see. I want to play it.
Did they elaborate any more on any like the questions that were brought up, or like why, what's going on, or?
Well, it takes place after God of War 3. After all that happens, and he realizes he can't die, he's doomed to live forever and deal with all this crap. He started to walk the earth and ended up there. And all these different mythologies kind of coexist all at the same time, all around the world. And now he is there. And at one point in the trailer, you see he picks up like this pot, and there's a depiction of him as the god of war fighting on it, and he sees it and he thinks back to that and everything. So it's they're not defining the time in between the two because they want to leave that vague and open for possibilities for anything else they might want to do in the future. But they're looking at it as if those first 8 games were the first chapter of his life. And now this is the next chapter. This is the next phase.
Now he's the AARP of
Yeah.
war.
There was 8 games.
There were 8 games, yeah.
PSP.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, Ascension. Yeah.
2 on the
Are they counting
PSP,
the cell phone game?
2 on the PSP, 1 on the Vita. So there's 3 right there. And then,
3, 4. Well, 1, 2, 3 Ascension.
Yeah. No, I just didn't realize it.
so that's 7.
The one on the Vita's like remakes, though, isn't it? Or
Yeah, I didn't think the Vita had a
Bundles?
new
New
one.
on Vita.
1 and 2 or something?
Didn't oh no, yeah, you're right. It didn't have one.
8 just didn't seem
So
right.
maybe it
but-
is the cell phone games.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
PlayStation
All-Star
They're counting-
Battles
they're counting
Royale.
PlayStation All Stars.
To
I
be
didn't
fair,
even
like,
think
I
about
never-
That's true.
Huh? What?
Well, he wasn't
PlayStation
also.
Battle Royale.
Mortal
PlayStation
Kombat,
All
he was in
Stars.
that.
There we go. We just got
Yeah,
to
that's
it.
true. He was in All Stars Battle Royale.
Mortal
Are we
Kombat. Wasn't he in Mortal
counting Shovel
Kombat?
Yep.
Are we counting Shovel Knight?
Oh wow. Yeah.
Shovel Knight, Mortal Kombat,
And Little Big Planet.
Little Big Planet.
Like the
Yeah.
20 God of Wars.
It's true.
Well, I mean, in actuality, I didn't realize until they said it on stage at the Ubisoft press conference, the 10th anniversary of Assassin's Creed.
Right.
With the year off means there's 9 games.
Plus spin-offs, and the year they did 2.
And the Chronicles, and yeah.
The
So, okay.
Vita one.
The
The
Assassin's
remake
Creed
of the
card
Vita
game.
ones.
All right.
Yeah.
Andy, you and I went to Bamco.
Scamco.
Yeah. Saw some pretty cool shit though.
Yeah?
I'll just give Project Cars out of the way quickly because I didn't get to play it yet. Project Cars 2 looks awesome. Like, they've pretty much addressed every single thing that I had a problem with in the first game, including it looks like, hopefully, handling the career mode better. But they've really gone nuts on the technical stuff, like all the physics that they're dealing with, even like how the tires hit the road, et cetera, which it's funny seeing how it looks now. And we were seeing the PC version in the demo, but seeing how it looks now compared to what Project Cars, the first one, looked like, it's going to be a humongous difference. But I'm going to go back tomorrow and try to get some hands on and play it. It's funny too because they actually have one of the full motion seats that you can try, but that's out on the floor, and I probably won't get to that.
They talk about VR at all?
Well, they're showing it on VR, but it's Oculus. They have not talked about PSVR. I was going to ask a question, but I had to get the heck out of there and get to my next appointment. So I'm hoping maybe I can corner somebody tomorrow and find out. Is your phone ringing?
Yeah, Johnny's the boy calling me.
Damn it, Johnny.
Pick it up.
He just wants to be a whore and be on the podcast. And then we saw Ni no Kuni 2,
That we did?
which is beautiful.
Yep. So, I didn't play it this time. They had a different section. It was playable, but there was a line for it, and I just
Of
didn't,
course.
didn't wait for it. But we saw theater presentation where they showed a bunch of stuff. It looked really good. They talked a little bit about the backstory and basically how you're playing as Evan, who the son of the king, and then the king passes away. He takes over. Are you laughing at my glasses?
You do look pretty ridiculous.
Andy, get
I look
bitches,
amazing.
Richardson.
I'll have you know.
You look like somebody that's just entered the WWE training system a week ago, and you're trying to find your character.
Can we put the Parappa the Rappa hat on him? That would.
Oh my God, that would actually work. It's like, what about this, guys? Do you think this works? What if I call you brother a lot? I'll be like the new Hulk Hogan.
Brah.
Those actually are kind of like Hulk Hogan's glasses when he was. Remember, you'd always give him away those crappy ones with the
Oh no, that
screen
was
on
Bret
them?
Hart. Bret Hart would give away that.
Oh, that's
those,
right.
yeah.
That's right. You're
If
right.
you want, I can just sit here and wear the PSVR the whole time.
Oh my God.
You just won't tell us that you're playing.
5 minutes into that decision, you would be cursing yourself.
Why? Just because I can't see anything?
No, he
Well, not just that, just having that heavy ass thing. Well, not heavy, but having that awkward thing on your head for 2.5
I'll give you $1 if you do it.
the joke's on us. He'd be having fun watching Hatsune Miku.
I could. Yeah, that's true. He probably run.
The PS4 cannot be on. You must wear it in total darkness.
Total darkness.
Yes.
Then when I fall asleep, no one will know.
Oh,
Oh,
we'll
well.
know. We'll know.
When you tip over like this,
Yeah.
you'll know.
Yeah.
Andy Swag Scout.
Anyway, Nino Kuni too.
You know, Kuni too. Yeah. So they were talking a lot about kind of where it came from and how they came to the main character Evan. Kind of a little bit about his journey and then some of his companions. So a lot of it'll be stuff that
like
will
the Pikmin.
the Pikmin. Yeah, the Higgledies.
Yeah.
So I kind of touched on them the other day when I talked about playing it at the pre-show event at Sony. But the little Higgledies are like little spirits that kind of follow you around like Pikmin, and you can interact with them during battle to get effects. And yeah, so it was a pretty cool presentation about that.
Yeah. And then we got to see
Dragon Ball
Z
Fighters.
No,
Fighter
he
Z.
actually said a Dragon Ball Z fighter, but that Z's on the end. It's
Yeah.
weird.
Dragon Ball Fighters.
Is that the one they showed at the
Wow.
Microsoft conference?
Yeah.
Okay.
It is gorgeous.
Oh man, and I got to play it too.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
What do you
It was amazing.
think? Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was really good. I hopped on a machine and played around, got my butt handed to me.
Nice.
Trying to learn the controls and everything, but yeah, it's really smooth. The animation looks amazing, and
Yeah.
there's tons of what you would expect from like Dragon Ball Z. So, powering up and flying around the screen, and giant supers that are killing everyone.
How many Saiyans? Because Goku just had like that's not a joke. Like, isn't he got like another Saiyan level? Like he's like God Saiyan.
Yeah, and that was one thing they talked about during the presentation part. So one of his moves, he goes Super Saiyan 3.
Okay.
But they said that's not like you transform and stay in that form. It's like certain moves will put you in that form, and then you'll kind of revert later.
Oh, okay.
So it's not really. But like in the game, you could also go into Gold Frieza mode. You're laughing at this, aren't you?
Well, there was also the thing that,
And then-
if you get stunned, you can if you do it right, you can pull in the like one of your
Yeah,
partners.
the assist characters.
Yeah.
So it's very much like it plays a lot like Marvel vs. Capcom 3. So there's a lot of like tagging in your assists to get extra combo, or pulling them in permanently to let one of your guys rest and heal, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it played really well. They only had 6 characters in the demo, but I went back later and played a little bit more and tried out all the characters, and I was really enjoying it. Kind of learning how to combo each character and all that kind of stuff. And then also at Bamco after you left,
Yeah.
I played the Gundam game. A little bit
I
of
did
that.
too. That was fun. Kind
Yeah.
of. I'm not really
Yeah.
that into the Gundam games, but it was cool.
The Gundam games are weird because they're like they want to make them feel like you're in a mech, so they make them like purposely clunky, but at the same time you can like dash and shoot and that kind of stuff. So it's a weird thing. I only played like one match of that real quick.
I played a couple. I played the 3v3, but with just all bots.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they were both set up for just bots. I don't think you could play against another player.
No, I when I tried to go against another player, like it.
Oh,
like,
you mean like with
it,
another
it meant,
controller?
like the menu would like freak out.
Oh, gotcha. And then I also jumped into Ace Combat 7 VR.
Oh, nice. Was that back in the area? Or did you wait in
Yeah,
line?
I had to
Oh,
wait in
nice.
line, but just a couple people for that, and so I jumped in and flew around, and
Tell me you threw up.
nope. In
Aw.
fact, I played. The mission was maybe like 10 minutes long, and I felt perfectly fine after it.
Now those sunglasses actually kind of work in his favor that he played Ace Combat.
Well, we have the aviators right here. So.
Was it really awesome?
Yeah, it was really awesome.
Fuck.
And it's delayed, so
Yeah.
That's fine.
To
Were you
add
able
extra
look around
awesome.
inside
I'm
the-
totally
inside the
fine
plane?
with that.
Oh yeah,
Is it
yeah.
all rendered?
So I mean, you're sitting in the cockpit, and you can look around and look in the cockpit and see everything around you, and then when you're out, battling stuff, you someone flies past you, and you're kind of like looking up back at them as you kind of track them backwards, and yeah, it was working really well.
that's cool.
How's the sense of
Oh, I
speed?
want that game.
Oh, it was pretty good. And actually, the one thing I had a problem with, I stalled a couple times because I would like slow down too much and end up like trying to turn too fast and stall the plane. So I did mess that up a
I
couple
wonder
times,
what
but
landing is going to feel like in that game if it has you land. Like that would be a little.
yeah,
jarring.
I
the
would
mission just
expect
kind of
the
ended with like a
landings are
fade to
automatic,
black.
Oh.
But
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really cool, and the VR was working well. They had it in non VR on the other side, and I didn't like try it for comparison. I just tried the VR
Oh.
version, but
Sure. I would
maybe
expect
Josh
the
will have to
non-VR
sneak in there
to
and try to
be
play it.
I would like to. I saw the non-VR at
The arcade being
Bef-
pre-conference. Yeah.
pre-conference, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was watching that, and the guy who was showing it off worked on the game. And he said he was former military, and he said he was a naval pilot. But from what I heard in Top Gun, they're called naval aviators. So
A
I
naval
don't.
pilot, so like your stomach. Naval pilot?
I don't.
Put the sunglasses on. No sunglasses right now.
I don't believe. I wonder if he was telling the truth, because all my Top Gun training says that's not what they're
Did you
called.
challenge him to volleyball?
I did not.
Shirtless volleyball.
Of course. Is
Sweaty,
there any other
shirtless
kind?
Volleyball. Yeah.
But
Should've asked
he
him for a high
worked.
five.
That guy worked on all the Jane's games. He worked on all that stuff.
Nice.
He's been doing this
Micro-Bros.
forever. So that was his big thing. So nice.
Yeah, so
Continue.
I'm definitely excited to try out Ace Combat 7.
Yeah,
I think it'll be a good experience for VR, and
I'll have to keep
I'm
that
assuming
eye
for
out.
not VR too, but
Okay. I'll have to keep an eye out for that tomorrow because I definitely want to try that too.
You look like a dad that's trying too hard to hang out with his teenage.
it does work really
You
well
look
with the
like-
hat.
You look like an undercover cop at a party where you think you're going to bust somebody for drugs.
Ask
Hey
it.
guys, what's going on?
Hey kids, do you know where I can get the weed?
Yeah. Anybody know where I can score some drugs?
Oh God, Dad's here
Wow.
hitting on my friends again.
I'm gonna go get one of my T-shirts that's like really baggy for you.
Or even
Para-
better, a Dare shirt.
Para Emerald or Glenn's pants, just like
He needs the shirt that just says music band on it,
Music band. There you go.
like that one.
So, Michael, Elix.
Oh yeah. So Elix is a sci-fi fantasy RPG.
Which Chaz wants to review really bad. He's like, "Did you get the review code in?" I'm like, "Dude, it doesn't come out for like months."
Yeah, they're aiming for the end of the year,
Yeah,
possibly.
He keeps asking me if we got the review code for it yet. I'm like, "What? What? No."
Tell him yes and send him some horrible game.
Just grab another one with like Loco Roco theme codes and send it to him as the.
There you go. Anyway,
Okay,
Elix.
so it's a post-apocalyptic sci-fi fantasy,
Ooh,
action-
that's a new take on a game.
action adventure RPG.
So zombies,
No. Mystical with robots and stuff like that.
post-apocalyptic.
Yeah.
Zombies.
It takes so Earth gets hit with a meteor and it brings a new element called Elix.
Okay.
This takes 160. Yeah, this takes place 160 years after that happened, so the world's still kind of messed up from it. It's from a studio that they've only made like RPGs or like open world games on PC. So this is the
Okay.
first time they're like doing something on console, I believe. It's fully open. You have it's like 5 different areas, like ice, forest, desert, volcanic, and like city, like like just industrial. And there's no loading between it. Like it's just like a gigantic world that you can just like go everywhere you want. You can eventually get a jetpack to help you travel, but they did that thing that I love when you get an open world game where they're like, you see that mountain right there?
You can go to that
That mountain anytime you want, but you can't climb that mountain without a jetpack.
You
but
know, like in Destiny. Oh.
yeah, you can go up to.
The Destiny demo that we sat through. You see that? You can go to it, and then you couldn't. It was bullshit. Is anybody actually paying attention? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he said he
Making
could go
sure.
to those mountains. You
Yeah.
can see it. You can go to it.
So the cool thing that they're doing is 95% of the NPCs are killable,
Okay.
which means you can end up killing quest givers, and instead of leading to like a dead end, it's just going to adjust that with the story.
Oh no shit.
And so the NPCs can kill each other as well. So one of the encounters he showed us was like this gigantic, like, I don't know, like org or whatever, orc. He's like, well, we can't kill this, but we can bring it into the city. And hopefully the city people can kill him. But if he ends up killing some NPCs, we might lose some side quests, or that's going to change how the story plays out overall.
Okay.
So you have to worry about that. And he says it's fully open, so you can end up doing missions out of order. But instead of having so say a mission was kill this creature over here, and then you go to the guy. Other games would just give you the XP once you talk to that person. They're like, oh, here's this XP for killing that person. But that quest that guy would give you would change slightly because you already did.
Oh,
You already
okay.
killed what he was going to ask you to kill. So he said you can end up doing missions out of order, and just miss huge parts because the story is just going to constantly change based on what you're doing.
Okay.
So that's pretty cool. Trying to see it's close combat, or for close combat for most of it. There is some range weapons if you meet the desert people, which are like Mad Max.
Okay.
So they're more ammo based. There's 3 factions in the game, and you'll learn abilities based on that. You do have to learn how to do things. So he showed me he killed a wolf. He could only kill the wolf, get nothing from it. But if he would have trained with a hunter, he would have learned how to skin it.
Kill the wolf correctly so it doesn't ruin the meat or the trophy. And
But basically
Yeah.
that, to where it's he could have gotten food from it,
Sure.
or he could have gotten the pelt.
pelts to trade or yeah.
Yeah, so he said there's a bunch of different scenarios like that.
Interesting.
There's multiple endings because of the way the story structures are.
Sure. Sure.
And then he said there's no good or bad ending. It's just a lot of gray areas. He says all the factions, none of them are wrong or bad. They just have a different way of approaching the end game.
Okay.
So it's a matter of just picking how you want to go about getting to the end game.
Okay.
Yeah. It was actually pretty interesting. It was hands off, but they at least ran through enough missions and stuff like that, and I saw it, being played.
And it's the typical third person.
Yeah, third person view action adventure.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's actually coming out October 17th. So
all
it's pretty close.
All right. So Chaz, no, we don't have the review copy yet.
No. I'm getting it.
How'd you start your day, buddy?
Yeah. I went to End Dreams, right?
What, didn't you do something earlier on? Didn't you go down to Sony?
Yeah, I went there with Josh
Yeah.
at the same time. And I think the highlight of that booth area there was Detroit. Become
Yeah, you
Human.
actually get to play that demo, huh?
Yep, the one that they showed us last year at the conference.
Yeah, the girl, the hostage.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
MC Langford.
The dopest podcaster in PlayStation.
So I think I remember an interview from some time ago with David Cage talking about how he wanted to get away from the binary decisions.
Sure.
So no more this or that. And it's just amplified so much in Detroit. You have a moving scale of your percentage of success for that particular mission.
Right.
And all the investigating you do plays a factor. All the time you take plays a factor. Pretty much everything you say, there's always more than 2 things to say, and that timer is just so stressful because you're like, I don't know what to pick.
Yeah, exactly.
And the decisions have some real weight. And to Dave's point, is it cool if I spoil that section
Spoil what section?
with the cop guy? Like what happened in my playthrough?
Oh no, you can say what happened in your
'cause it's not
playthrough.
going to be the same
That
for anybody.
yeah,
Okay.
it
sounds
can
like
change.
there's 5 or 6 or 7 different ways that could go at
Right.
least.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That when we were talking to Brian, he was saying, he's like, PR doesn't want me to talk because they're afraid I'm going to spoil something. But literally, I could talk to you for an hour about the game and not spoil it because you may never do the right
have-
combination of
yeah,
things to
yeah,
get
30
to
things
that
to
exact
that
point.
point.
He's like, so there's so many different ways to get through that,
It's
and
art.
so many
my
different
stone
things.
in the water went this way. yours went
Exactly.
that way.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, and everybody saw this last year. Everybody who saw the press conference last year saw this
Yeah.
scenario.
So
With
go ahead and spoil away.
so tell how you got through it.
So basically, when I was checking out the apartment there, I took a gun with me, and there came a time where you get to where the guy who's gonna kill the little girl, threatening to kill the little girl,
Uh-huh.
he asks you, "Are you armed?" And I decided to lie and tell him no, and I guess he believed me because then my success chance went up.
Okay.
So I'm inching forward and I'm getting closer to him, and the time comes for me to make the decision to threaten him with the gun or just execute him. So I'm like, shit, I don't want to lose the little girl, so I just hit execute. Anyways, he shoots the dude, and he saves the little girl. But I saw another video or another playthrough from somebody else where he shoulder charges the other android, and they both fall off the building, and Connor, the guy as you're playing as, dies. So to Dave's point yesterday about not knowing what the game is about, we don't know how far along we were in or what mission we were on for Connor, but he could be dead right there or not.
Or if that's even actually in the final game.
Exactly.
Right. So he could go
All
on.
we know is that guy on the ledge, he's woke.
It is. So,
Cool.
I played Gran Turismo Sport in there too.
Yeah.
I thought that there was a little, like the sense of speed was off. I like to do the camera back here behind the car as far as possible.
You're weird.
So maybe that had something to do with it.
That's not how you drive a car. Just letting you know.
And that's how I do it.
Do you have a drone that follows you everywhere when you're on the road?
All the
Got
time.
that
you just watch the
he's
little
got that
monitor?
Eagle drone. From
Hey,
another
yeah,
place.
my spoiler. I don't like that first person stuff. I have to
Makes
live
him
like
make-
that.
Cam.
It makes him sick. Remember?
Yeah. I already have to
Get
live
in the
like that all
cockpit.
day.
It's just like you're in the car.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Well,
I have to do that in real life.
That's how I drive.
I prefer the overhead view, actually.
Like I'm literally sitting in the car.
I like.
this isn't Ridge Racer.
No, but I like arcadey racers, so I think that's why, like, when there's a Gran Turismo, I also pull the car back.
Gran Turismo's not arcadey.
I know, which is why I don't play
You want
Gran
arcadey, you play
Turismo,
Forza, mister.
the most popular racing game.
In the world. What? No, it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, they sold enough,
I think Bamco, they said that Project Cars was the most popular. Or no, they said that has the most tracks.
Well, it's the most popular in esports, but
Ugh.
that's what Gran Turismo Sport is shooting for now, because they have stuff built right into the game that's gonna support all that stuff.
We're esports, yo.
It's big business. It's big business.
No, I know. I just like
Did anybody see the Twitch thing in LA Live?
No, I didn't.
When we walked through it.
Oh, that was crazy.
That's esports. That's
Yeah.
Twitch
Oh,
esports
yeah.
arena.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely catching on.
I played Dave and some Spark, and I housed him 3 rounds straight. What up?
Camera was too low for my tones.
Oh, here we go.
No,
It was. It was.
My
'Cause
arms-
I was
my
standing
arm
there.
flipping out through it and everything.
I was waiting to go into God of War. There were 2 things going on where Dave was, actually. So when I was waiting for God of War to start, I went over and I was standing there talking to the guys. It's CCP Games. And I was talking to them.
CCP too?
Yeah.
Jeez.
So I was talking to them about it, and he told me they found out yesterday that their banner that's up behind the game on the wall there is interfering with a lot of the players because it's such a bright blue. It's
Sure.
almost like a bright white blue. And the lights were so bright on it that every time somebody's arm came up that way, it would lose the move controller.
Yeah,
It got confused and would lose
So
it.
for me, the camera was like rib level
Yeah.
Okay.
And
on
they,
the TV, and I'm putting, he's telling me to full throw, like Josh was talking about the other day.
Yeah.
Where like their instructions are, just throw it like you're going to throw a baseball or
Sure.
whatever. And what was happening for me is
Like that.
what was happening for me is there is some type of invisible barrier for your own player.
it's a
and
foul line. Yeah.
And I would throw it, and it would just go like this. I mean, you can't visually or audio see it, but it would just like go 3 feet in front of me and like stop,
Sure.
or like 2 feet and kind of just hover there for a second. So I was able to get a couple decent throws off, but if it was the banner behind me or whatever, or the fact that I really felt like I was higher than the
Well,
perspective.
you were, and right when you stood in there, one of the guys turned to the other guy and goes, "He might be too tall," and they were trying to push you back. He's like, push him back a little bit, because they kept trying to push you back, and every time you would step forward and try to throw
because
it,
the
and they're
visual
trying to push you
what I
back.
was
Yeah,
looking at it where I would pick the ball up.
Yeah.
from, when they would push me back, that didn't move back with me.
yeah. Well, that's
So-
you needed to
yeah.
reset
Like,
everything.
It was kind of just really weird.
They should have had you reset it like after
Yeah.
you step back.
But I don't think that would have mattered because of like it wasn't picking.
Well, it would have changed the perspective, but you still would be clipping.
Yeah.
Because you're
Yeah.
about to go high up.
Because I asked them, I go, "Can I sit down?"
Oh, you can't sit for this game.
No, and it's not.
Actually,
because-
that's why I haven't tried it, because I have a feeling.
Yeah.
Right.
it's
Well,
my
because
balance.
you can't. They don't want you to sit for it either because you're actually supposed to be able to dodge, like fully
Yeah.
dodge the ball.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
And then they said at the harder difficulty levels, you won't have the knuckle grips or the knuckle blocks.
Yeah.
If you don't have a ball in your hand as the shield, you can't block
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
or deflect. So,
Right.
But it was fun. I mean, once the couple throws that I got off that were legitimate throws, Emmer couldn't do anything about them. So
Okay.
Just blocked the shit out of them.
Not from what I saw.
Let's see. What else was in there? The Inpatient was in there.
Yeah, did
Right.
you guys want to play that?
Yeah,
They both
we
did.
Yeah.
So I thought it was pretty creepy. There was a jump scare.
Yes, there
where I
is.
Pissed a little bit. But
A bit of poo came out.
it's just a shard. So then, it's cool. I like it. It's scary. It's freaky. But I'd probably rather see just a regular console Until Dawn 2 from those guys if they're going to make a game in that
I have a
universe.
feeling that's coming
Dave?
in some way.
Yeah, I mean it was fine. It was a VR game that the way that they have you move, and again, it's always been a little bit of a challenge, but you kind of like could look forward or look backwards and then walk, and then like look forward or look backwards or look left or look right and then walk in that
Well,
direction.
it's pie pieces. It's,
Yeah.
It's not the smooth movement
yeah,
right or
and it was
left.
just a
That helped me with the motion a little bit.
just a little
the
bit more difficult,
fifth
and they
grade
were
degree.
using the 6-axis movement on the controller on a piece of paper that you picked up. You
Oh,
had to,
yeah,
like
yeah.
turn the paper over, and that was challenging.
That
yeah,
actually-
that was right out of Until Dawn.
Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, it's still challenging with
Yeah.
in VR and everything. I felt like
Well,
just-
it was really glitchy on me.
Yeah,
With
so-
the DualShock stuff.
Well, it depends on how you're holding it. I mean, I guess because I played
Weren't
Until
you watching
Dawn
my play session?
a little bit.
I would grab it every time, and I would like kind of mess around, and it would just fling all over the
Yeah.
place.
Nah, I
they
didn't
said
really
that they
see
were
that.
having some problems with it, like even when I
Yeah.
played. So
That was the only problem I had.
because he told me right away, like, okay, he's like, here you're gonna do this, and then you're gonna get in this situation, and you rotate your controller, and he
Oh,
goes,
they didn't
like-
tell me
Oh.
shit.
Yeah, well, I think other people were struggling
It's,
with
I
it.
think
Oh,
it was
okay.
a problem, yeah, because when I did it, I mean, he left me alone, but I
Yeah.
went right in. I was like, oh, sweet.
Well,
and
he left-
something's
he
on the
left me
back, and I
alone.
flipped it over.
He left me alone, but before he left me alone, he said, hey, you're gonna run in soon into
Yeah.
this scenario. This is what you need to do. And then as we went through the questions and stuff like that, and then progress through the demo, and I was getting ready to near the end of the demo, like Josh was like, go left, go left, go left.
Oh yeah.
Because Emra went right, you went right,
Yeah.
and Emra was watching, and I was like, I
Yeah.
wanted somebody else to see what happens when you go left.
Mm.
But I mean, again, it's I don't own a VR, but it was cool. It was interesting. It's just that genre, that style doesn't really do anything for me. So
Yeah, I mean, I think I'll probably play this one because it's compelling enough to me to try to figure out the clues and all that. But I'm not much into the horror genre
Yeah.
or whatever.
and then
But it's creepy horror.
yeah, I was able to play Detroit as well,
Nice.
and I got a different scenario than Emma did.
Nice.
Tell me about it.
What I
Look
thought
him in the eye when you do
what
it.
I thought was an interesting mechanic that they have in the game is they have something very similar to the Arkham games, the detective mode sort of, where
Yeah.
you can like fast forward and rewind the scene to try to figure things out. So that was kind of cool, messing with that a little bit. It did have like markers on it that I felt kind of like guided you and maybe fed it a little bit.
I'm wondering if that was just for the E3
I
demo.
kind of hope it is,
Yeah.
And then scanning the bodies and stuff like that, like while you were doing the investigation was cool, and trying to figure out what was going on.
Sure.
And like I was able to find the name of the android by like going through the girl's room and finding a video she had.
Okay.
So exploring through the house was interesting, and I was able to get him to let go of the girl,
Oh.
and then the chopper wasted him.
Oh, okay.
So, but I was able
I'll
to
play this tomorrow.
yeah, I was able to convince him to willfully let her go.
Nice, nice.
So, and then the guy that was watching said he hadn't seen that happen yet. He hadn't seen him release her.
Oh wow.
So,
Nicely done, Dave.
I am the biggest pussy when it comes to horror games. If you get me to play that, you can film me and watch me cower.
There wasn't. I mean, it's not really a horror game. It's very creepy.
No, even if I think there's a jump scare going on, I will panic.
It's funny because I
Yeah.
was kind of like waiting for it to happen, and it never happened. And I'm like, what the hell?
it kind of feels like the same, and this is not going to help you want to play this game at all, but it kind of feels like the same play style of like Here They Lie.
I don't agree.
Not the movement, but
Well, I
the-
mean-
in terms of the first-person perspective, moving and navigating through things.
Yeah, I think Here They Lie though kind of creeps you out just because it's so odd
Right.
overall. Whereas I was getting creeped out by the the doctor.
Getting-
When you asked, I asked him if he was a doctor, and he's like, "Yeah, sure, I'm a doctor." I'm
Well,
like,
and then
"Wait,
it was
what?"
even like when you moved away, like he was like in your face.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
like
that was the most uncomfortable
yeah,
part
I
of
mean,
it.
he's like
and
in
and
your
She
face.
tried to headbutt him.
and when I started, I was leaning forward,
Oh man.
and
I
the
moved
first
back
time he
twice
comes
and
in,
he was
yeah,
still like right there, and I'm like, come on, dude.
the first time he comes in, he's right in your face, and it
Yeah.
gets so
And
uncomfortable.
that doctor looks damn good.
The graphics are amazing in there.
So that game looks very interesting. And then I did get to play Bravo Team as well.
Nice. What'd you think?
Needs some work.
Well, it's early.
Yeah.
It's very
The
early.
cover system was kind of weird, and then being in
And he
cover-
broke it.
Yeah, and it broke.
I don't
he
think
got-
that
he-
was too difficult because it was
Right.
kind of breaking when I was playing.
Yeah.
He got killed, and he broke it.
Nice.
The revive mechanic apparently doesn't work.
It worked. It worked
know.
on
It
my
worked on my other
playthrough,
guy.
but
I
yeah,
really-
Well, I died. I got rezzed, and then I died again, and it's like, nope.
Oh, okay.
But
yeah, because the producer I played with actually died, so I had to go revive him.
yeah, me
And I
too.
figured it out before he didn't tell me.
Mhm.
Everybody's looking at the chat now.
Well, no, because Johnny's going nuts.
Johnny, shut up. We're trying to podcast.
Someone who's watching says that his mic's not working, but
Whose mic's not working?
someone who texted me,
I don't-
a friend of mine.
Mic's not
Oh.
working? Is it
Yeah.
turned on?
Can you guys hear me?
Is your mic turned on, Dave?
I mean,
Yeah, it's on.
Then it's fine. Nobody's saying anything in the chat
Hold on.
here.
Dave, talk again. See
Check. Hello.
I don't think it's working.
Shit.
Maybe I'm just talking loud enough. The other mics are picking it up.
Maybe. I don't know. All the lights are on, though. Oh, I'm not going to get up, and it's going to take 5 minutes.
well, I'm gonna grab a soda then.
All right, talk again.
What the?
Johnny, can you hear me?
Yeah, your mic's working.
Okay.
Johnny's just silly.
No, Johnny didn't say it. So
Or whoever it
A
was.
friend of mine. They called you the balding guy.
the
Back here, soda
thank
boy.
you so much.
Yes, your mic is definitely working.
Is mine working?
Yeah, Johnny says
Everyone's
it's fine.
working.
So.
They should. We didn't mess
They're
with
all
it.
working.
So.
Cool.
Johnny says it's
Okay,
fine. so.
well,
Now I'm paranoid. Tell your friend, go to hell.
Tell your friend to open his fucking ears. Okay. Is that all for you guys for...
Sony, yes.
Yep, I couldn't get back there, but that was the place to be with that sweet, sweet free cheese.
Yeah, I mean they had everybody's golf in there.
how was
I didn't
how was the
really-
food?
Pretty fantastic. They had Red Bulls, they had soda, they had these weirdo crackers that looked like they cost a lot of money. It was awesome.
They
On a scale of 1 to Korean barbecue, how good was the food?
He didn't go to Korean barbecue.
Hot damn.
They had Korean
didn't go to Korean barbecue.
tacos in the cafeteria in South Hall today.
They were barbacoa, Korean barbacoa tacos. I had those.
Oh, what
They're
did we
pretty
have?
good,
The
actually.
mixer?
amazing when I walked by.
The only problem is
what do we
the
have to
taco
mix it?
shells were like soft, and as soon as I picked them up, they just
Oh wow.
everything fell out back into the tray. So it was a fork food.
Yeah. Well, it's cafeteria food from a convention center,
Yeah.
so you're lucky it was anything.
I got a
Yeah.
sandwich from the media room.
I saw that you tweeted it.
Yeah.
Damn. Were you like camping out in there or something?
I just right place, right time.
No shit. All right. So next, I actually went to Rebellion, the folks that did Battlezone amongst many other games. Saw two things. First one is a game called Strange Brigade, which I think we posted the trailer for it about a week ago. This is third-person co-op, kind of Left 4 Dead-ish co-op type game. I played a single player today. It's set in the 1930s. It's kind of a pulp comic setting. So it even has like the old radio announcer like, "Oh, looks like things aren't very good for you right now." That sort of thing. 4 different characters to choose from. They're kind of different classes, but you can actually change out their weapons at certain points in the game. It's pretty cool. I really like the style. I thought it looked good. It played really, really well. And it's just a neat idea. So I didn't get to play co-op, unfortunately. There are no AI teammates. It's all live people. What is this now?
They're making fun of my baldness.
Johnny said he could see the
Beavis, put that back up. Come on, Cornholio.
Jesus.
shine. Damn it, he just got back from a 7-Eleven.
I'm sorry, Dave.
Jeez.
You want your hat?
No,
Put it back up, Cornholio.
no.
Do it.
Let him keep going.
I don't even know what I was talking about anyway.
The Rebellion game.
Strange
Rebellion.
Brigade. It's
Yeah.
cool. There's no window for a release yet, but and the other one is Rogue Trooper Redux.
Oh, hang on real quick. Strange Brigade requires co-op to have fun.
No, I played it alone. I had fun.
Okay. Johnny just asked. So
Shut up, Johnny. Rogue Trooper Redux is actually a complete remaster of Rogue Trooper, which came out, I think, in 2006, they said. So Rebellion actually owns the IP for, I think it's like something like 2000 AD or 3000 AD.
2000 AD.
2000 AD, which is also Judge Dredd. So this is their books and everything that they own, that whole IP, and then it was the game that was made. Redoing it, it's a third-person action game, and you play like these genetically created soldiers, these big blue guys with these glowing eyes. And like one of the guys gets killed, and you can actually pop the chip out of his neck, and you put it in your gun, and he actually enhances your gun, and he talks to you. A little weird. I mean, mechanics-wise, it's a game from 2006. They've definitely fixed it up a little bit, but I actually had a lot of fun with it. I recorded it too, so I'm hoping I can get some gameplay footage up in the next couple days and show you what it looks like. It looks good. It doesn't look like it was made for the PS4 yesterday, but it looks really good. All good shadows now and all that stuff. But I had a lot of fun with it. So I don't know when the release info is yet for anything for that, but it was cool.
I think at this point in time, like solid gameplay is priority over looks.
Yeah.
So-
I mean, it had that 2006 feel, though.
Okay.
It really did, but you could tell that they fixed it up a little bit.
Nice.
But, yeah, it was neat. So that was Rebellion. That's all I saw there. Who's next?
Might be me.
Let's see here. So, Rebellion. Oh, Wreckfest.
So we went to THQ Nordic. Josh
Yeah.
tagged along. We weren't sure what
Let's talk Wreckfest,
what
yo.
was. It wasn't going to happen with that. But
Wreckfest fucking rocked.
they
All right.
they
You're
said a couple
everything I
old
hate
games
about
that I
the
had no
gaming
idea what they
industry.
were, and Josh's interest immediately perked up. So I will let him talk about what appears to look like to be maybe a spiritual successor.
Yeah. They sat us down. They said, "So, have any of you ever played Destruction Derby on the original PlayStation?" And my eyes lit up, and I love that game because that was one of my favorite games. And I said the first one was awesome. The second one felt like it lost something, and I could never pin down what it was. And they agreed, and they said this is that type of game. It's really a spiritual successor to it. It's kind of built on that. All these guys have built a ton of racing games, and that's all they've been doing. So essentially, what was it, like 20 cars?
Yeah, and which is like the customization that the system that they're putting in for building your car is deeper than any racing game I've ever seen.
Ridiculously insane. So basically, you get a chassis, and then you do whatever you want with it. Yeah, right down to pistons and drive shafts and
Which is kind of silly because
everything.
Well, it all
in
affects
real Destruction Derby, you want a real piece of shit, and you just kind of
well, it all
spray paint
affects it all affects weight, which
Sure.
which allows you to ram, and the faster that you go, the more that you weigh, the more destruction you can do in one impact,
Yep.
the more damage
It's
you
very-
can take.
it's-
That'll also make you slower if it's more weight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's the whole point. It's
It's all
very,
risk
very
reward,
physics
so-
based. Yeah,
Sure.
it's very, very physics based, and you can put on these huge bumpers, and you can kind of beef up your car in areas, and you can change the suspension depending on
Track.
the track.
The course.
Yeah, you can really, because there's dirt tracks, there's gravel tracks. There's no weather changing. There's no wet. There's no rain.
Right.
But they have figure eights, which I can't wait
Yeah.
to play. We played one, and I was just having so much fun. I said, "This is Destruction Derby from 1990, whatever, 95, 96, and it's with full physics, and it looks gorgeous." And it's man, it's gonna be so much fun.
I've heard Josh geek out before, like on a podcast or in an interview or something like that. But to see it in person was kind of interesting.
And the funny thing is, when the game comes out, he's gonna hate it, or he'll play it like for an hour and never play
Nope.
it again.
Nope.
Write this down, folks.
No,
So-
this was a good one.
It looked good. I mean, like again, they were still. It's still like a work in progress. The
He'll
game's
only
on
play it
Steam.
if he can get his kid into it.
The game's in Steam early access right now. And again, it was one of those appointments where they kind of kept talking, and I kind of had to steer them in a different direction. Like, okay,
Sure.
let's talk about consoles. Oh, we're gonna have mods. Well, wait, no.
Yeah.
You
yeah,
know,
they're
it
not
does-
doing mods
yeah.
on consoles.
It does support wheel. It will have wheel support.
I don't think I want a wheel for that.
It was fun messing with the
I-
wheel at the.
It was
Yeah.
fun with
Yeah.
the wheel. It
Well,
actually
it's
was.
the whole point of
With the wheel
getting
or with the
wheel
whole like
out,
rig?
setting it up.
What was the whole
Yeah.
rig?
Yeah.
But no, I get it. But I mean, like, it controlled fine. We were playing with an Xbox controller, and I thought it controlled fine. The physics in it are very cool. It has an auto replay mode in it where you can rewind and you can actually watch anywhere in the course and look at things and see other crashes and
You can-
Oh, cool.
see
You
the
can-
car tumble over, see
Yeah.
the parts fly, like all in game, all physics based. Like the bolts were coming off the bumper and they were flying in the air. And
yeah.
There's a photo mode, and you can stop. You can literally stop at any point in the race, and zoom in and out and around, and do this whole photo mode and rewind and look at every last little
Yeah.
bit of it. It's
you can change the
insane.
focusing. You know, they had a whole like slider system where you could change the focus more on the cars or focus
Sure.
more on the background. Apparently, one of the developers was a photographer, so he was showing that for a really long time to us.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, like, it played really well. It's supposed to be like, I think they're shooting for fall of this year.
yeah.
I think he was
that's
saying
kinda the
they were
idea.
hoping for around $40 on console.
Yeah, depending. They're not sure on the price.
40 tracks, I think, is what they're going for.
Something like that.
And
yeah.
then like the cars, the quote unquote cars, are essentially just the chassis, because you can change everything else out.
Okay.
You can put some ridiculous spoilers on it. The one car that he hooked up for me had like 3 spoilers on it.
Yeah. So we could buy, like, Dave and I could get the same car. There's going to be no,
Oh my God, Dave!
Um,
Spoilers.
like everything. They're not going to be selling stuff to you after the fact, and they're not going to be making you buy virtual currency or anything like that. It's
We
all
are shipping a complete game.
Yeah, shipping a complete game. It's really fantastic.
Cool.
Everything I played, they're shooting for. They said on PC it was like 24
24 online.
24 online players on PC. They're shooting for that on the console. They're not sure they're going to get that high. They said minimum 16.
Yeah, I'd be shocked if it's over 12, honestly. But
Yeah, they were going to try to get at least 16
Okay.
on the consoles, and if they can go higher, they will. But Dave and I were immediately thinking Extra Life. This would be
Yeah,
just
yeah.
insane for Extra Life.
Cool. All right.
So,
And then End Dreams VR.
Yep.
Sorry, folks, for that. Those that aren't watching, M had to like wind up before he got started.
Like a nice flourish on the.
Yeah, a little flourish with the microphone.
It's the key. Okay, so I saw a game called Bloody Zombies.
I'm out.
I know it sounds generic, but I think they mean like an Englishman would say it.
Bloody zombies.
That's the one, like darn zombies. So
What was that?
His rap name is J Lane.
J what?
J
Jay
Lane.
Lang.
J Lang.
Yeah,
Mm.
I think that works.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll work on that.
Oh no,
not
I
legit.
just thought of that right
Oh,
now. I'm
okay.
just thinking of the worst name for you.
Bloody
Thanks.
zombies.
Yes. Okay. So that is like a comic book type animation, and it plays like a zombie-filled Streets of Rage.
Okay, so it's a brawler.
Yeah, 2D, and you can walk. I
But
guess
it's
not
VR?
2D, so you can walk up and down. Yeah, and anybody can play on the VR, and you can pass it around so that anyone can experience it, or you can play all regular with controller. You
what
can
do you
mix
mean
and
pass
match
it around? I mean, a brawler you would play on the same screen, wouldn't you?
You would, but I mean, just like move the hat, switch your controller over so that everybody gets a shot in VR.
Well, you can do that with any game.
Well, I guess they touted that for PC, since you can't really have 2 VRs on one system when it comes to PlayStation, right?
Right.
But you
can't do
could
that on
use
PC either.
2 headsets with a Vive or an Oculus, or no?
No.
No. Okay.
But what you can do is use the social screen thing so that other people with other controllers could play. Now I want to see this so I can see what the hell is going on.
What?
Yeah. What?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm talking about the game he's talking about.
Oh, okay.
You looked at Josh and then you said it. So
I
Well,
thought
I don't
Josh
know
was
what
going to get the
hell's
whiskey.
going on there either.
Midlife Crisis live on YouTube.
Yeah.
So, Em, are you saying that
Yeah.
you would take the visor off and then like reassign that to player 3, and then they put the visor on?
That's what they had us do,
Okay.
just so that we could all get a
Okay.
round on it.
So there was
But
like 4 of you playing, or
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
3 other people were playing on the TV, and
On the
then one
TV.
had the VR headset.
Yeah. Or
so
you
they
could
are
do
doing the social screen thing.
right, and you can do,
But
and
the,
the
three,
game can
the
be
3
all
people that were playing were brawling as well as the person in the VR
brawling
was brawling.
with you. Yep.
Okay.
You
Okay.
had certain advantages if you were the VR player because you could like look to the right and left and see much more of the stage. So you could see what zombies were coming and that kind of thing.
Sure.
You didn't lose much visual fidelity when you put it on, which I thought was cool
Nice.
because a lot of the VR games don't look as good, right?
Maybe the VR games you saw 2 years ago don't, but the VR games now look good.
They're really coming around. I
Yeah.
wasn't getting sick, except for like almost on the inpatient when you had to walk. That's what really
Really?
gets me. Yeah,
Wow, you are a wuss.
yeah.
Must be that you don't eat pork.
That's it. Pork has that
Well,
stuff
he
that
might have
keeps you
had some
from
today.
getting- I didn't
Oh, that's
ask.
right.
You don't know.
I'm on the edge.
And then he's asked me, does this beverage have alcohol in it?
Where was I? Zombies, bloody zombies.
Bloody
Oh yeah, so
zombies.
your character, the person who's playing in VR, the person on the screen has a thing on their face too,
Well, that's kind of
which
cool.
is cool. Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
So
Alright.
you can grab the person's head and flip them over you, just like Streets of Rage. You can combo, toss them in the air. Bosses are harder, and then they become regular henchmen after you get used to them, and
Okay.
all that inspiration. And the dev even used Streets of Rage as a
Inspiration.
touchstone. Yep.
All right. Cool.
Release window, price, anything?
Nope.
Okay.
That was easy.
Mm-hmm.
Michael, Extinction from Iron Galaxy.
Okay, this is going to be really quick because it was about a 10-minute demo.
Really?
Yeah.
Because this is one of their. I mean, they've had a couple of other IPs that they own, but
This is the first, they've started off right about, we're known for fighting games.
yeah.
We took some of our fighting game, things we learned from fighting games to work on a combat for this game, which is an action-adventure game.
Okay.
It's third person. You're just kind of fighting big monsters. Didn't really look like there was RPG mechanics in it, but there's a lot of action, combat with swords and parkour elements. It's really fast moving. The fighting looked okay. They said the combo stuff is pretty intricate, but again, the demo was really brief. It was only 10 minutes.
Seems odd that they would do an appointment for something that simple.
Yeah, it was just kind of odd because then they ran through something. So there was this huge village destroying monster
Okay.
who was just wrecking havoc. So you had to use your parkour, hopping around,
Right.
and your double jump and dashes to get to the top of the monster. The monster's wearing armor, so you have to destroy the armor before you could go and kill him. For the big monsters, you have to target their limbs. So if the monster's moving too fast or too tall for you to get,
Right.
chop his legs off. So then he'll just fall, and then you
bloody legs off.
yeah, and then you just work from there and have to chop off the limbs. The whole point is to cut their head off.
Right. You can see that in the trailer.
Yeah. So they just showed us one of the big monsters that they killed, and he killed the monster relatively quick, and then it was over.
Okay.
So yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah.
It's pretty colorful, usually for games like that, because I think it's going to be open world. They didn't say how big the world is. It sounds like
Oh.
it's still early in development. So for games like that, the first game I saw, which was open world RPG, was dark and moody. This one seems a little bit more bright and a little more humor in it.
Right.
But hopefully it works out. Like they said, they're taking a risk by getting out of their comfort zone. Because Iron Galaxy,
but they've worked on other projects that aren't fighting games. I mean, they do a lot of contract work.
yeah, they do a lot of contract work, but usually that's just ports. I think this is the first time they're actually developing something like that from the ground up. Put the AC on.
Are you
Okay.
warm, Em? Really? It's set to 71.
I'm kind of getting a little sweaty. Yeah.
Well, it might be those flashing lights around your neck. They're warming you up.
I feel good.
Or the hat holding the heat in.
Yeah,
Oh
or
shit,
wearing-
son!
Wearing a
Beanie.
snow cap in the middle of June in L.A.
I mean, we're already 3.
But he's got to believe.
That's true.
I gotta
You
believe.
gotta believe.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it for that one.
Okay.
They're aiming for Q1 next year.
Which means with that, for a while they were going real late on their stuff.
Yeah. I feel like I
But-
waited for Dive Kick forever.
Well, yeah, but they've got 2 dev teams. They got the one in Florida and
Yeah.
one in
And it sounds
Chicago.
like this one's bouncing between both
Okay.
studios because both studios are relatively small.
Right, and one of them works on Killer Instinct, and
Yeah.
you know, 'cause they took that franchise over, so must be an Adam Boyes move.
Oh yeah, I forgot he's over
there
there
now, yeah.
Yep, him and Dave Lane are the Midway connection basically.
Yep. Interesting. Okay. Dave, Nyko, tell us about all the Switch accessories.
So
Switch and Switch accessories.
not
Yeah.
not 100%. Like Nyko. I guess they know who they're scheduling their appointments with, obviously. But we've had appointments with Nyko for the last couple of years, so it's kind of just we're on their list, and but they didn't really have anything new or anything new coming to show. So they didn't have any props or anything for me to look at or mess with.
Okay.
They did have a couple of interesting things. They have, and it sounds simple, but I really haven't seen them or know if they're readily available or not. They had a USB cable that had the
Ooh.
it plugged into your PlayStation or any USB port, and then 3/4 of the way down it split into 2 micros, and it was designed to charge 2 Move controllers.
Oh.
So
Cool.
1 port to charge 2 Move controllers. Kind of nice
All right.
quality of life thing. And then also they have the store and charge or the charge and dock that
Right.
you can quote unquote like daisy chain other pieces to, so you could have like 2 things to
Oh, yeah.
to charge 2 DualShock 4s and to charge an Xbox controller and to charge a Switch accessory now. They have a dock for 2 Move controllers that works into this dock and charge thing.
Yeah. They've
Um,
been expanding that for since last year.
And the only thing, if I remember right from last year, was after a little bit, when you chain too many of them together, you can't charge via USB. You have to charge via like outlet
Right.
because it starts drawing too much power.
Right.
So there's that, and then they're still showing the data bank, which
I don't know why.
right or wrong, whatever you like it or don't like it, I'm with Glenn on the recommendation of buy an external hard drive.
Yeah, the data bank, it had its place, I guess, and I don't really think they sold that many of them.
And it
but-
still will only, right now, as of now, will only work with the OG PS4.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
it's obviously not a.
Well, same way with that charger, that charge dock, that thing.
Well, they have a new one of that.
That's been updated.
So their new one of that is.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I had it for a while and I used it, and
There's another new one.
okay.
So this one essentially just sits on top of your PS4 Pro,
Yeah, yeah.
your PS4, or your Slim. And it has little rubber feet on the bottom, so it doesn't really move.
Sure.
And then it has a cord that comes out of the back of it or the front of it
Which-
that you can plug into the front of the.
Which they should have done the first time.
Right. Well, there's no extra USB ports on this one.
Okay.
It just sits on top of your system.
Why?
Well, because there's no universal fit for the Slim, the OG, and the Pro now.
But why would they not put extra USBs on it? That's so stupid. That negates the reason to even have that thing hooked up.
Again, it's
At
one
that
port
point,
to
get an
charge
external
multiple
one that's not
controllers.
using your USB
Right.
port.
I agree.
Oh, they're so stupid. Sorry,
So-
Nyko, but you're so stupid.
So that's
Misguided.
Well, no, and they know because they redesigned that one that sits on top of the system originally and it had USBs. Why would they revert that? That's silly.
so. But that was really all that I got from Nyko. They didn't have any
It's not your
VR.
fault, Dave.
They didn't have any VR accessories or.
Which is shocking.
Yeah, last year they showed us like 3 VR things, so I guess maybe that's just not doing anything for them. Because I didn't see anything. Like the room that I went into, like was, like it had a monitor for a presentation, like no joke, like 13 or 15 Switch accessories on the table.
Oh yeah,
Rightfully so. The Switch is the newest piece of hardware on the market right now.
It's the new hotness.
Yeah, and then the wall behind it was like that slat wall you'd see in retail stores, and it had tons of products on it.
Well, honestly, if they price that portable dock correctly, I'll probably get one.
No.
It's
think
instead
it's
of needing that
$45
big hunk of plastic, it's basically plugs it in, I got to see if it splits off for power though too, because I keep saying it's so stupid that that's the only way that you can take your video output from your Switch is to use that dock.
Oh.
It's USB-C. Why doesn't somebody create just a cable so that I can throw that in my bag and not have to unhook my dock and everything else? So that he brought his Switch here to E3, we could have brought that little cable along, plugged it in, and we could have had it on the TV. You know, it's. I don't know. I don't get why we haven't seen some of that stuff yet.
You talking about that now just dawned something on me too as well. That new wireless charger that Nyko has that could sit on top of the Pro or any of your PS4s.
Sure.
I guess in theory it could also just sit on your entertainment center or on your table.
Sure.
As long as you plug it into your USB port and then you're just setting your controllers on there. There's no docking. It just uses the charging dongle.
Sure.
So
Okay.
that's just something that dawned in my head as an interesting thing for somebody. Maybe they just put it on their end table and they're done. They just set their controller down.
Sure.
So if that's your thing. So power whatever it's called, the Power A click one works great.
More power to you.
Power to the player.
Gotta get the timing down for them sunglasses, man.
They don't really like sit. Yeah, they're.
Oh my god.
They were in my bag, so they're a little smashed up.
Get better eyes, Andy.
I'm trying.
Then we wouldn't have
yeah.
these problems. So I visited Skydance, who are doing a game for PSVR called Archangel. It's also coming up for Vive and Oculus. It's really cool. So you pilot a mech. So you're inside a mech. You have two move controllers, and each one controls a hand of the mech. Your movement is all on rails, but your right hand both hands have a shield, so you have to hit X on each controller, and you can actually use the shield and block shots that are coming in. The right hand has like a Gatling machine gun on it. Left hand has a rocket launcher. So you're moving along on rails, and all this stuff is coming out at you, almost like kind of an old school rail shooter, but a lot more diverse than a lot of those. Because there was like one point where I came up and my shields were lower, and they wanted to get me like these nanobots to repair me. So they throw the ship comes up in front of you and like ejects these two big like capsules, and you actually had to grab them with the hands and then smash them. And then you walk up and there's a bridge, like an overpass that's too low, so you clench your fist up and you actually do the motion and like swing down on the thing to bring it down. Graphics wise, gorgeous, really good looking game, and really well done sound and voice acting, everything. I had a lot of fun with it. I actually played through it twice, the demo they had there. So it sounds like they're getting close to release already. I don't think we got a date. I'll have to look at the info, but Archangel looks like one I definitely want to play. I had a lot of fun with it. So totally check that out if you have a VR. Let's see, Josh. Days Gone.
Days Gone. Yeah, so this we saw again what was shown at the press event,
Sure.
but this time they did it at night and it was snowing.
Huh.
So they decided to change things up to show how things can be different in the game, because everything is dynamic and everything can change on the fly, basically.
Sure.
But the bike handles differently in the snow. When he came up onto the road where the wolves were, they weren't there because it was too cold. It was snowing, so they weren't even there. He just checked the body. But that also gave him time to come up and pull out his binoculars and look ahead and see that wire across the road.
Okay.
So he turned and went down a different way, hopped off his bike, and then came in stealthy and killed the guys. Then he searched the ambulance and a couple of the cars, got some supplies and things, then went off and approached the camp from a completely different direction.
Okay.
Along the way, he saw a couple guys. He went all stealth on them, killed a guy with a sniper rifle, then started sniping a bunch of the other guys from afar. He tagged several of them, kind of like Assassin's Creed, or Uncharted 4 or many other games at this point, so he could keep track of where they were. He got to the end with the bear and everything, and that was that.
Zombie
But
bear.
the idea was that he did a number of different things along the way, just to show different ways you can handle situations, different ways that things are. The freakers, which is what they're calling them right now, they can be all different kinds of hordes. They can be, a couple of them here or there. They're all just dynamic. They could be there. They could not. You could play a situation. They're mostly out at night. I think it was. Are they out at
The
night? or
freakers
during
come
the
out at
day?
night.
They're
Only in
out-
LA.
I forget what it was. Yeah, they're more out at night. But that means marauders and stuff are more out during the day.
Okay.
So what they were saying, like when you're in the camp there and they tell you your buddy has been taken, you don't have to go immediately. I mean, you could just go off and do other stuff. You might want to wait until it's night because you might feel you have a better chance, or you might want to do it during the day, depending on, your skill set or whatever. But you're going to face different things depending on when you go. And it was really interesting, some of the stuff they got into. This is another one that I'm going to write up a lot. But
Cool.
one of the things they got into, because we were talking about the sound with that silent sniper rifle, and how he forgot at one point he missed one of the guys and had to charge in and shoot him, and everything got really loud and really violent and everything.
Mm.
And I said, well, wait a second. If you had gone through there and you had been all stealthy and all silent the entire way through that scenario, right up to the end, would you have still seen that bear? And he laughed, and he's like, you're the first person that's asked that. No, you wouldn't, actually.
Mm.
Because the noise is what attracted the bear. So
Zombie bear.
and the noise is what attracts the freakers and everything. So you have
Right.
to be careful with that.
Freaker bear.
Depending on what you're doing. Well, that
Zombie
one
bear?
it's an infected bear.
Did the
And
end
the-
scene play out the same as it did in the press conference, though, where you shot the guy that was holding your buddy?
Yeah.
So wouldn't that have attracted the bear anyways?
Well, if you had played it out differently, if you had snuck up on or if you had sniped that guy from afar, maybe.
Yeah, it just looked like it was a cutscene. That's why.
Yeah,
I mean, but
that
who
did
knows
look
what the
like a
branching
cutscene.
if it has branching
Yeah.
storylines? Yeah.
But there's other ways to do it. So they were saying, if it's raining and lightning and thunder and all that stuff, that's a good time to just shoot because nothing's going to be attracted. Your
Don't think it's
sound,
light or thunder.
yeah, your gunshots are being kind of masked or just ignored because of all the thunder and everything else that's going on.
Okay.
So there's all these dynamic things going on that you really have to take into account when you go after certain situations.
Interesting.
Are freakers different than? I think that when you went to one of the appointments, didn't they call them like the horde or the?
Well,
The
they are a
yeah.
horde,
That's
yeah.
what they were
Okay,
saying
'cause
last year.
You were
A
saying that
horde
they
of
come out at
freakers.
night, but everything we've seen, they've
Actually,
showed them during
I
the
think
day.
they were during the day. Yeah,
Okay.
they're during the day, and the other guys are out at night.
Okay.
It's I couldn't remember which
No,
one
I was
it was.
just I was getting confused. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I just love the freakers come out at night. That's great.
but yeah, they're during the day.
Okay.
The other guys are out at night.
They don't eat you; they just come up to you and lick your face.
Yeah.
They're
It was
freaks.
cool because actually, as he was sneaking up
But
on,
they ride the subway.
as he was sneaking up, there was some guy. One of them was chained to a tree by its neck, and there was a guy standing there taunting it. So he got down, pulled out like a bow and arrow, and hit the chain, broke the chain, and the thing just lurched forward and ate the guy's face off. And he came running up behind it and hit it in the back of the head with an axe. So he took the two of them out very quietly.
Wow.
Very easily. He let the one take the other one out, and then he came in and killed it. So
Okay.
he was showing us a lot of different ways to approach and attack different situations, which was pretty cool to
Nice.
see. So yeah, there's a lot to that game, and it just looks so good.
Cool. All right. Andy, the Metronomicon. Slay the dance floor.
That I did.
Why didn't Emmer go to this? Just
Well,
wondering.
because it's an RPG. That's mine.
Oh, I thought it was like a rhythm game.
Well, it's both.
No, that's
Aw,
mine.
shit.
It's like
That's
they
RPG.
saw the rhythm game and the JRPG, and they're like, why not both?
Okay.
The R
Um,
stands for rhythm.
Exactly. Rhythm playing game.
To
Yeah.
the beat of the rhythm of the night.
So, it plays a lot like Amplitude, actually, where
Okay.
you jump in and there's 4 different note tracks playing, and they represent each of your different party members. And as you play each track, you'll kind of get to a certain point, you'll clear that track, and then you switch to another one to switch to another party member. But
Hmm.
the whole thing is framed like an RPG, so you're fighting against, the monsters of a dungeon, and when you successfully play like a section, that's how you're casting your spells or doing your attacks. And they've actually kind of worked in a way where you can select which attack you want to do. So certain party members would have a couple of different attacks, and basically you just play through like a successive section with that character. So like my healer, she had a support skill where she would like buff my team, and then if I kept playing as her like at the same time, then she'd do her healing spell instead. So
Okay.
you can kind of choose like that, or like the mage would cycle between a couple different spells, the fire spell or the lightning spell or the earth spell, depending on how long you played as them before you switch to somebody else.
Okay.
And so you're doing these things, you're doing the attacks. There's an enemy on the side that you're slowly attacking, and then they can attack you back. So they might hit you and cause a debuff where all your notes like turn dark and are harder to see, or when they're coming down, they kind of like wobble back and forth a little bit.
Okay.
So it was really cool, and I played a few songs. It was kind of set up in like a free play mode, and he confirmed that there in the final game there will be like a free play mode where you can just kind of jump in and play whatever you want. Your party's kind of set up for you, but of course RPG is about story. So there's this long story about in this world dancing is like magic. So
Dancing is magic.
and that's true, just like friendship.
You're
So
the
there's
best friend.
so there's some people who are like dancing, they like learning about it, and then there's some communities that don't like it. They're against it because they're afraid of it or whatever.
Until Kevin Bacon
Yeah, I was
comes
gonna say
along.
Footloose.
Kevin
or-
Bacon, yeah. So you'll jump into the story mode. You'll have a few different songs to pick from and play through a certain section. Doing better in the song will get you better in the story,
More
etc.
points.
Yeah. And that's the interesting thing is the song is set up so you kind of like fight through a few enemies and then you get to a boss. And because it's more around your gear and stuff, you could potentially even like before the end of the song kill the boss and then start getting even more enemies like optional bosses and stuff and get
Mm.
an even better score like that.
Okay.
So all the normal RPG trappings are in there, raising your party, raising their levels, getting experience, giving them new equipment, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, so it was really cool. I was really enjoying it. They kept like kicking me off to like let somebody else who was there play, and then like that person would get off and I'm like, can I play again? Because especially like the first couple times they had me on like the easy mode, and I'm like, I want to try something harder.
Oh, the
Yeah.
cockiness kicks in.
Yep.
They see that he can actually back himself up. And
Yeah.
Well, you want to get
So I
dark?
played the hardest song in the demo, and I was playing it co-op though, and I did fine.
He's making our game look too easy. Get him out of here.
That's the dev's like, okay, so that's the hardest song in the demo, but there's harder songs in the game, and so.
Nice.
Were you
but,
on a guitar for that one? Was that the guitar one?
Yeah, I was gonna get to that.
Oh, sorry.
But
I'm sorry.
yeah, so
Spoiler.
the one thing is there's co-op, so you can have 2 people who can both be switching back and forth, and there's even like team skills. You raise a meter, and then for a short while you're set to a certain track, and every single note you hit gives you an attack, and if you ace the section, then you get like a big bonus attack, do a whole bunch of damage and stuff.
Nice.
But as MJC was mentioning, they've even like gone a step further, and you can play with different music instruments. So they had the Guitar Hero guitars there.
Oh, so you can actually okay. I
Yeah.
thought it was like something in game.
No, so the actual like Guitar Hero,
Okay.
or the Rock Band one actually. So the first 4 notes were playing the notes, and then strumming was switching between the party members. And unfortunately, he goes, okay, so if you want to activate your special, you hit the options, which is like a small button where your palm is.
Yeah.
And I'm like, shouldn't you do the activating your special to raising the guitar? And he's like, actually, that's how it was, but it broke just before we finished this build, so I switched it back. so that'll be in the final game. He said he'll fix that, and you can raise the guitar star power
Nice.
to do that. And then I'm like, so what about like the Rock Band drums? And he's like, yep, it'll support those. And he's like, and also if you have a dance pad, it should support that. And I asked the Guitar Hero Live controller, it'll support that. So they're kind of
Nice.
going all out in any way you wanna play it,
The Nintendo Power Pad
maybe.
with an adapter.
And then there's a full like button mapping. So if you have some kind of wacky controller you want to use, you can kind of mess around with the button settings to get it how you want. But,
Nice.
but yeah, it was really sweet. I was really digging it. The music was good. There's going to be about 50 tracks in the final set list.
Is it like recognizable music or is it all original music?
I didn't recognize it, and so I asked, "Oh, is this licensed music or is it made for the game?" And he said, "There's a few made for the game, but some of them are licensed. They're just smaller artists." But it was really good. I enjoyed it. Most of them had like a really strong beat that you could kind of play to. He said it was kind of originally designed to be mostly about like a dancing game.
Yeah.
So like with a DDR pad kind of thing. So that's why a lot of them were kind of heavy.
I heard they
Heavy
sourced
beat, but
the soundtrack off of a Spotify playlist they found called Andy's List.
well, I didn't recognize any of the songs
Oh,
myself,
okay.
but
Well, the dev went home and tirelessly is trying to make his game more difficult now.
yeah, exactly. And then he's gonna add some J-pop just for me.
Oh man. Oh boy. Put some Baby Metal in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we were at our RecFest appointment, I asked them a question about something, and they're like, "Nobody ever asked us that. That's a really good idea." It's like-
But yeah.
We
so
should put tires on the cars.
it was something to do with like 2-hit kills or something like that. Like they're like
Oh.
speeding up how quickly the damage can be done, and
Sure.
trying to. And they were
Sure.
like, "That's very feasible, and that sounds like it'd be fun."
Nice.
It's like-
Dave's first steps into becoming a video game.
They go. I
producer.
said, "You can send me the check." He goes, "No, we'll just put your name in the credit."
There you go.
but then you can't review the game.
Yeah.
I think we already know.
Conflict of
somebody else is
interest.
doing
Conflict
that
of
anyway.
interest.
Yeah.
Chaz?
Cool. Yeah, Chaz.
Chaz.
That'll be his
Yep.
200th. Activision.
Yeah. So it was Destiny 2, and Josh actually got to play some of it today. So
Year I
you
did.
can go first.
I played single player on the PC with a mouse and keyboard.
Nice.
There
First
is
time
no
I
single
played
player.
with mouse and keyboard. First time I played mouse and keyboard in 20 years.
Back when Parappa came out.
And
Last time you played.
probably. And I picked it up again pretty well. I died once early on because they were shooting me from behind and I didn't notice it. And I went, oh, crap, all right. And then from there on, I was okay.
Sure.
I didn't really do any of the special stuff that I could do. And
I still don't know how to activate my super on mouse and keyboard.
yeah, and I completely avoided melee, but everything else I was doing, I was switching between weapons, I was cruising around, I was killing guys left and right. It looked great.
Yeah,
well,
he
it
was
60 frames,
Yeah,
4K.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he was
Um,
playing the homecoming mission, which is the attack on the tower.
Oh,
So
okay.
the Cabal are attacking the tower,
Sure.
and Gaul is on his way.
Yeah, it was pretty sweet. I really enjoyed it. And then I went downstairs and played PvP
Yep.
with Dave and a couple of other people. I had a couple of kills. But I was a bit of a mess.
Yeah, PvP in Destiny is not really like a regular PvP shooter.
They're trying to evolve in that
Yeah.
direction now. I haven't really had a big chance to talk about it on a podcast form, but they are changing the weapon loadout and everything like that as well.
Right.
The mode that Josh and I were playing is Countdown, which is very similar to like a search and destroy mode.
And that's the video we put up
Correct. Yep.
a couple weeks ago. Yeah.
Yep. They did not give me an opportunity. There was not any opportunity to capture at the event today, which I was hoping there would be, because they were showing off the Arc Strider, which is the new replacement for Blade Dancing Hunter.
Let's talk them into it tomorrow. Oh, God, they're going to drink Fireball. Oh God!
The only place
I don't even want to smell this trash.
the only place that I was told that we could capture is in the
You can try
Nvidia
one
booth on
if you
PC. So,
All right.
but
Well, maybe we'll talk him into letting us capture tomorrow.
yeah. So, like Josh said, I was assisting.
children.
I was playing PV. I played 2 rounds of PvP, one without Josh, one with Josh.
That's so
that
funny.
stuff smells terrible.
When we went, when we went to sit down, they put us in the seats that were like right next to the crowd that was walking by, and there were all these guys lined up, leaning on the railing. And they, as we sit down, they're like, "Are you guys Destiny players?" I'm like, "Well, I haven't played since the beta of the first one." I said I played a little bit of the first one past that, but not enough. I said, "This is your guy right here." They're like, "Oh, good, finally," because we've been sitting here and it looks like nobody can play this game.
Josh was playing as a Striker Titan, so very similar to. I have
Drink that stuff. It smells
Yeah.
awful.
I have a vague memory of when Josh was playing Taken King in the Activision booth of taking my headphones off and assisting him, and I had to take the headphones
fun
off
with
during this Crucible match and assist him again while I was sitting next to him because we were very close to winning the round and he had a super and he did not know how to use it.
He finally found the button where he could put his finger in the end of the barrel of the gun, like a
Well,
cartoon.
the Striker Titan, and there's gonna, I broke some of it down, and there'll be more, more breaking down. But the Striker Titan in Destiny 1 was a Fist of Havoc
Right.
area of effect smash attack
Right.
that was literally like a one and done.
Right.
And now it is what they are calling, the gaming community calls a roaming super. So you have the ability to do your Titan Smash, and then your supers are on a timer now. So like whatever you can do within the time frame, you are so you could do multiple smashes, or you
Right.
could be infused with arc and running around and shoulder charging things.
Right.
So
Something
and-
else that you can see in the video that we posted up on
Yes.
youtube.com/psnation.
Yes, I would like that to have as many hits as Josh's Crash video. Please tell me how
Oh,
bad I
shit.
suck.
Yeah. If you watch his Destiny videos, you have to tell him how bad he sucks so we can try to match
Yeah.
all the comments on Josh's Crash Bandicoot
Oh hell yeah!
Insane Trilogy video.
So like the changes and there more stuff is going to come out. I don't really understand. When Destiny first launched, and I knew it was a new IP, and they had this agreement with PlayStation. They showed all the cool stuff and they made all the announcements through Sony. And now, like when I was on my way home from the press conference Monday night, they're like, "Oh, by the way, this is happening, and this is happening, and this is happening."
I had a little talk with a couple people at Sony today about the fact that they were announcing all this crap an hour before the press conference when we were all in the arcade or getting seated. We didn't see any of this crap.
Right.
And I said that's kind of silly when all the people that are going to report on this stuff are the ones that didn't see any of these announcements. I just don't get it. It just seems really poorly conceived.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So, I mean, I did get to play as Arcstrider, and again, talking about how the PvP is changing a little bit. One of the coolest things about Arcstrider is the new super that the hunter has, which is an arc bow staff,
Right.
that he does a lot of like gymnastic stuff with and kills with.
Right.
However, the new way that Crucible is being developed, you get less supers.
Right.
So I didn't really get a chance to play with it very much.
Aw.
So-
Aw.
But disappointingly, it feels, other than the super with the bow staff, it pretty much feels like a Blade Dancer. The grenades
Yeah.
are the same and everything like that. So
And also for those asking, because I did see some stuff today, Luke Smith today said that it'll also run at 30 frames on the Xbox One X.
yeah, the phrases that you're seeing Luke Smith tweet and speak are all consoles.
Yeah.
He says all consoles a lot because there was rumors that the 9/6 release date was going to be first on PlayStation.
Yeah.
But then when you look back at his tweet, he says it's releasing on all consoles.
He was
on-
doing something with Keeley at the Coliseum today.
Yeah.
So that came out.
So the coolest new one, the subclass that they keep showing off that looks amazing, they're not letting anybody play right now,
Yeah.
which is the Sentinel Titan.
Well, I'm sure that's on purpose.
Yeah, because I want to throw my Captain America shield at some things.
Hell yeah.
And then my appointment got cut a little short due to some extenuating circumstances, so I will be going back to Activision
Sure.
to hopefully get some time with Call of Duty. And I have an interview with somebody, game director for the game tomorrow, that I can't remember what his name is.
We'll figure it out.
It is not Mark. It's not Noseworthy or Luke Smith. It's another one.
All right.
So
All right. Back to Andy. You were busy today.
Kinda.
Battle Chasers Night War.
Yep. So this was an RPG that I saw last year at E3, actually,
Okay.
and it's a turn-based RPG based on a comic from I think the '90s. But unfortunately, so I get in there and I'm talking to the guy, and he's kind of updating me. There's not a whole lot different than last year. It's just mostly been kind of populating content. So he's kind of showing me some of the new content. I actually got to go hands-on this time last year. They just kind of showed it to me.
Okay.
So I was playing it a little bit. And after like 10 minutes or so, one of the people, like one of the publisher people, kind of pops their head in the door and says, "Hey, someone would like to do an interview with you guys. Can you hurry up?" That's like, well, I had a half an hour appointment. I didn't say that, but the guy's like, all right, give us a little bit more time. So I played for another 5 minutes, and then she kind of pops her head in again and goes, "Oh, we really like it if you could get off and give this interview."
Well,
Yeah. So
why do we have appointments?
yeah. So I was like, all right, I'll pop off. So I got off and I went out, and by then it was 20 minutes after I had started. So they start the interview, and I'm standing there by the desk because my next appointment was at the same spot. Someone
Yeah.
walks up and asks about their appointment for the game. They had the next appointment out the next half hour,
Okay.
and now their appointment's being delayed because of this person getting the interview. So apparently this was like a Greg Miller level person or something.
What? There
I
are
don't know.
none at that level.
Only the Greg Miller.
Do not say that name on this podcast. It's a trigger word.
I've only said it 2
Greg
times, so
Miller.
he won't be summoned.
I saw Greg this morning at the Sony booth.
So did I.
Got a
Well,
hug.
I saw him yesterday at the Sony booth, and I saw him today on the GameSpot stage.
Yeah. Well, no, we talked for a little bit.
Yeah.
Gave me a big hug.
I think
Talked
the
for a little bit.
bug died in my my
Oh,
No, that comes with the fireball.
brutal.
Dead bugs.
like legit. Like I think
There we go, Josh. That's how we'll get rid of the mosquitoes. We'll just set a cup
Yeah.
out.
That is perfect. They will be drawn to that.
That's a bug, right? Is that a bug?
And drawn
It's
to
a
death.
feature.
It's a feature.
You can't see that with his shades on. Leave him alone.
But yeah, so it's a turn-based RPG.
Making me both feel
I
special.
did a little bit like running around the dungeon and then getting into some fights with some enemies, kind of trying out some of the new attacks and everything. One of the cool things about this turn-based RPG is that certain attacks will give you like overcharge,
okay.
and it's basically like an augment to your mana system or to your mana points. So if you build up an overcharge and then you use a skill, it'll draw from those points rather than drawing from your actual mana pool, which kind of lets you conserve your mana for like harder fights when you actually need to like spam skills and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And then there's a lot of intricacies in terms of like you use a certain skill on someone and then it'll combo with someone else. It'll put them into like sundered mode, and when they're sundered, certain other attacks will do more damage and stuff like that. So
Okay.
that was pretty cool. It's finally has a release date. It's coming out in October? Question mark. I think like October 6th. I think he said. So hopefully, I won't be seeing them at E3 next year for the same game.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
DLC.
Yeah.
There we go. That'd be fine. But yeah, I really enjoyed the game last year. I gave it one of my Game of the Show awards last year.
Oh, is that the one that was like the smaller dev and?
Yeah, it was like there were 2 people, and the same 2 people that were here this time. I don't know how big the
Oh,
actual
okay.
studio is,
Okay.
but that was the game last year. They had the dungeons are all randomly generated,
Hmm.
and you can only craft in dungeons. So you have to find the crafting tables. And
Oh.
last year they set it up so that there was like it was only a 1 in like 10,000 chance that it wouldn't show up. And so he rounds the corner and goes, and here's where the crafting. Oh shit! There's the 1 in 10,000 chance.
Nice.
But actually, kind of funny this year in the dungeon I was in, there was actually a crafting table there. So this year I got to see the crafting.
Well, there you go.
But naturally, that was right as they were trying to kick me out of the room. So,
Of course.
but yeah, so it looks pretty cool and coming out later this year. So hopefully get to play it then.
Well, you might as well go on to your next one then. That Aquanax Deep Descent.
Yeah. So this one, it's basically he described it as a space shooter but underwater.
Okay.
I guess it's based on some old IP from a while back that hasn't had a game in a decade or so, and they're bringing it back. But single player was kind of what he talked about a bit. And there's a big long story. It's a big open world kind of underwater. It's actually based on the real world map, but just kind of small chunks of it. It sounded like that you kind of go between. But you're in a submarine. submarine combat. Big system about like hitting enemies in the right spot for doing more damage, and then a huge tree of upgrading. He was kind of showing me upgrading all the different parts of the submarine and how they affect all the different stats. The turn speed and how fast you can go and how much damage your weapons do and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
And then kind of talking about there's a couple different classes of submarine even, so they kind of each one lets you focus in one direction, and then even more with your equipment to kind of figure out how exactly you want to take it.
Okay.
And then after kind of showing me some of the single player and going through some areas, we kind of briefly jumped into multiplayer. And there's a big multiplayer mode. They're hoping to kind of get a lot of submarine action in there. And the one thing that I thought was kind of weird is I asked if the customization carries over into the multiplayer. Like, can you customize your submarine and then go into the multiplayer and play with that submarine? And he said that actually once you're in multiplayer, it's basically just picking from like 10 different ships or something,
Oh, okay.
which was I think a little bit disappointing. But he was saying that it was kind of for balance reasons. They didn't want someone who was just starting the game to get completely destroyed by someone who spent hours upon hours of setting up their loadout and everything.
The way I felt the first time I played Ni no Kuni, and I was just obliterated in a couple minutes.
But yeah, it looked pretty cool. It was I didn't unfortunately get to play it. It was they were playing it and he was kind of talking to me while I was playing it, but it looked pretty sweet. And that one's shooting for coming out later this year. There's going to be beta on PC. He was hoping for next month, and then the full release coming later, which will be also on consoles.
Cool.
So, kind of depends on how things go with the beta, but
Didn't Bamco say something about a beta for one of their games?
Dragon Ball.
That's right.
Yeah, Dragon Ball Fighters
Yeah.
will have a beta
Yeah.
soon.
I just remember that when you said beta. I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah. I remember that too because I even wrote it down. And
Yeah.
then I haven't looked at my
didn't
notes.
get the website written down. But, oh well.
But yeah, so that was Aquanox.
Cool. Well, so I was at this appointment with Alienware, and that's where I saw Chris from RP Gamer. He and I just ended up sitting next to each other, and it's running long, and I'm like, I really need to get to my next appointment, which is NAC 2. So I get up to go, and I'm like, I'm really sorry, I got to go. I got another appointment. I walk out of the South Hall, and the PR manager calls me. She's like, are you still coming? I'm like, I couldn't get out. And where Alienware is, it's kind of off on the side. So effing busy that I had to actually go like loop all the way around just to get past the crowd because it was just a glut. So finally get over there, and I thought it was regular, appointment like we usually have at Sony, where you walk in and it's a bunch of media. No, it's Mark Cerny's just sitting there in the room alone. I'm like, God damn it. So I was like 5 minutes late. I felt really bad about it, but I got to play co-op NAC 2 with Mark Cerny and explained some stuff to me, which a lot of it I already knew because we talked to the producer yesterday and played some with him. But yeah, it's pretty interesting how they're doing a lot of things now. They've really expanded a lot of the mechanics that were in the first game. They've expanded the moveset. It doesn't feel as limiting as the first game did in some of the moves. Like, if somebody's getting you with ranged attacks, it doesn't feel like you have to be a lot more quick with the right stick to try to get around stuff and get to the character. You actually have a move where you can kind of throw your arm out and grab them and pull them in, stuff like that. And I was doing the platforming section that they had on the demo, and a lot of it's kind of side view. It's 3D, but it's a side view and everything. And you've got these things kind of swinging around, and Mark goes, I was playing it like the typical player where I think that I'm still on a 2D plane. He goes, you're on a 3D plane, right? And I said, oh, yeah. So instead of like trying to time the stuff, just going left to right, you can actually kind of jump around these walls that are opening and closing. Just jump around it with your double jump, and you can just get right around it. It's tougher, but you can do it. I was like, oh, shit, that actually works. So I'm really enjoying NAC 2. I played even more later on when I was in the Sony booth. Just kind of sat down and played the demo again. And, I mean, they've really increased the visual quality of the game overall. I really like how it looks. I'm enjoying the story elements that they put in, a couple new characters. And the co-op is a blast. Like, you can even do a couple moves in co-op where, like, if I'm standing in front of the person I'm playing with, you can hold down square and you do like this really fast punch. If I'm standing in front of him, it'll actually fire out all the shrapnel, so that if you're being attacked by a lot of enemies, it'll slow them all down. Or he can hold circle, which is a kick move, and it kind of makes you a bullet that just flies across the screen. You can take stuff out. So there's actually like real cooperative gameplay in it where you can use each other's weapons.
But again, I still think that there's not to the point of where it hinders the game if you play alone.
No, I don't think so.
Right, and that's
No.
what I'm saying. So they were able to hit that balance of where like the little bit that I played alone versus the little bit that I played in co-op,
Yeah.
you don't really feel like you're missing something out.
Well, the
You're missing
difficulty
out.
is dynamic too, so it
Right.
knows if you're playing with somebody or not. And I've actually played my last section. I played on my own when I
Right.
went back to the booth and just sat down and just started messing with it. I like there's these super crystals that pop up every now and then, and if you bash that, you get these swords. Like your arms turn into swords, and you have this really good ranged attack. And I like the fact that, I mean, the co-op in the first game was kind of cool, but you were pretty limited as a second player, whereas now you're just a clone of Knack. But I like that you can hit our All right, check, check. Can everybody in the stream hear us? Let us know, please.
Nick at Night cultured me so much.
What is that card for you name? Anything? When you upload? What is that card?
They were.
Does it just stop and start again?
I'll have to do two separate.
Tony got
Take me
around.
about 20 minutes longer. Because I have to do two files now. I have to mix down
Mona.
the file.
I just know where's Jessica.
So does Eureka mean that you can hear us?
Let's talk about Devolver.
Well, possibly my NAC 2 stuff got cut off, so if that's
Okay.
the case, I'll talk about it tomorrow maybe. Okay. I think I was done with NAC 2. But if you didn't hear me, I really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to play more, and I'm excited for it because it's fun. It's a lot of fun. Emra,
Yep.
talk about your seeds.
Okay. I went to Techland,
Techland.
the publisher, had a meeting room, and they showed us.
It's almost like you're reminding yourself at this point.
He
That's how I
is.
get down.
That's exactly
Pure
what's happening.
Farming 18.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Is this PS4?
yeah,
Okay.
coming Q1 2018.
Are you sure?
This isn't
Yeah,
like
this
this
time.
isn't like farming from concentrate. It's pure farming.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
Glasses, please.
I don't have
Um,
the.
That was just no. That wasn't even good.
Don't
for
don't give him the glasses.
No, that's the
That's-
point.
That was
None of
fucking
them are
awful.
good.
God.
They are never good.
So, as far as I know, the sole competition for farming simulator.
I
Anyone?
believe you're correct.
Anyone object?
Besides, well, there's probably some weird PC-based like farming world or something, but you never know.
All right. So we had some
Farmville.
charismatic presenters that almost made a farming game look fun.
Almost, you said.
Almost. One of the big things they focused on was the licensing for the equipment. So I didn't see a John Deere, but I saw
Those
other
are all
names.
about. That's what all those farming games are all about. The
Yeah.
equipment
Licensing?
licensing.
Yeah. So they went into
Did you see any Husqvarna?
no, no.
Shit.
I almost bought a lawnmower one time with that name, but it was too
Yeah.
much. So some other recognizable names that I don't remember, but I know I've seen them.
Grass cutter.
And we went into
Harvest picker.
the detail on these things and how they were reverse engineered by the studio people so that they could be put in the game and depicted accurately.
So they took a tractor apart.
Maybe not all
Wow.
that, but
I'm gonna need a big wrench.
so that was one of the big things touched on. The other thing was the locations. So we're
You mean
talking about
farm fields.
yes, those, but
Okay.
all around the world. So we're talking
Oh,
about
oh.
grapes and olives from Italy.
Okay.
We're
Those
talking
famous
about
farms.
coffee and cocaine from Colombia.
Pepperidge Farm?
Maybe not cocaine, but you know what I'm saying. The
It's a
plants that are indigenous to those areas, you can go there and harvest them and all that stuff. And they also touched upon how they have 3 game modes, all focused around how much time the gamer has in his or her life.
You know it helps if you talk into the microphone a little bit lower.
Right here.
Yes.
So
Instead of doing this. Yeah. I'm talking to the microphone. With
I wanna
it's up on my forehead.
visualize.
You can hear me, right?
So, taking into account how much time the gamer has, you have a couple of separate modes. If you can't dedicate, your whole big campaign type hours to my first farm mode, you might play one of the other modes.
Is
where
it
you
called
can-
that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's kind of like maybe like a road to the show type thing.
You start in the farm system. Oh,
Yeah.
where's the sunglasses at?
So that's it.
There you go. I don't think I can put my big head. Keep going.
So about a 10-minute PowerPoint type presentation about that, and then we moved on to
Oh, actually, that's nice.
for the light bulb.
I'm serious. I have a
They
spot.
they suit you pretty well, yeah.
Yeah. Just keep them on. You have to punt every 5 minutes, though.
Fun every
Was
five
that
else
game
you
Farm
losing?
Fresh?
I am on it.
Gee, pass the glasses.
The game was
No,
far
I'm
and
not
fresh.
giving these up now.
Pass it back, dude.
Because that son of a bitch is right
He
behind.
can keep.
All
Well, just
right.
imaginary.
You got an answer for that, Pop?
See, unlike being on stage where you have bright lights in your eyes, at least you have gels at that point. This is like burning my retinas.
We moved on to more Dying Light. So they started that presentation with a bunch of.
They had Dying Light in there too. I didn't know that.
Yep, and they.
So originally this.
Damn it! And you took that appointment from me.
Well, we didn't get to do
originally
anything with
this
it.
appointment Was supposed to include a remake of a PS2 game that I was kind of excited for because I like the series, and then it got canceled like a week ago. So they said that a lot of people were kind of dropping out of it. But there was still some stuff in there for PlayStation, so I wanted to have someone go to it.
Cool, that was me.
Yeah, that was you.
So, for Dying Light, we started with a bunch of stats about how the community is still so very involved. Hundreds of millions of zombies killed, and all of these stats that they showed us from all the player data.
Okay.
And then they went on to talk about reasons why they decided to continue support. And then the big kind of aha moment.
Because zombies, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The big reveal was that they're going to do 10 DLC packs over the next year. So 10 DLC packs over the next 12 months. And all of that completely free.
Okay.
And then I started a slow clap.
Did they
Okay.
drop the mic too?
No, he was just talking.
Oh.
All right.
So,
Can we drop these mics?
Please don't. They cost money.
so no real
We'll have to
details.
like take you up to the roof and drop you.
And we still need to feed Emra.
You're the mic. Give him the.
Oh,
You're the mic. That's two, bro. That's two. He's the mic. Okay, so talk that shit. Give us a pun.
Damn it. I can't just come up with a pun. It has to be organic. You know, like on those farms.
Whoa! Give him that shit. Give him that shit back. Jesus. Where's the rapper with these battles?
he's waiting to
Guys,
drop them bricks for Lego.
You guys are pathetic over there.
Uh-huh.
Josh has secretly fallen asleep. We just can't tell.
Fuck yeah, at least 3 times.
So no real details, no real gameplay. Not a lot by way of that. Just just kind of slides, and a guy with an accent talking.
Yeah.
So
And-
in the
They're from like not Poland.
I think Techland is Polish, or whoever the devs are. for
Techland
Dying
is,
Light.
yeah.
Techline, yeah.
the Pure Farming Simulator, what's it called? Is that what
Pure
it's
Farming 2018.
called? Did they talk about mods at all? Because Farming Simulator has mods, right?
I thought
They
did,
do,
but it was
yeah.
Not on console.
It is on console. Oh, no, I'm
Farming
saying, no, not
No,
pure
Farming
farming.
Simulator
We're talking
has
about
has
Farming
mods on
Simulator.
I know this.
Yeah.
I'm saying this one. I think they have, but not on
Yes.
console.
I'm just wondering.
Okay, we'll get
I'll
care
look-
of
can
it.
only
I
confirm
read
things
some
with
about it.
Word.
Okay.
I might be wrong. So what about?
No, I told him he has to say word when he confirms things.
And that was it. Those 2 games from Techland.
Okay.
Should I talk Devolver? Because I spent a little time over there.
The Devolver? You got it?
Yep. Because they were saving the press, basically. You could just go over there and hang out and get food.
God, I wish I would have known that. Well,
So-
today I didn't have time.
So the first thing I did when I got there, it's like, I don't have any appointments. They're like, oh, it's fine. Just go in there and get some beer and get some food.
God damn.
So then I immediately texted Emra. I was like,
I heard about the meatball sandwiches.
yeah, we had to figure out if there was pork in it or not, but we just risked it and said, let's go for it.
Pork chop sandwiches.
I'm such a rebel.
But as I was about to leave with Emra, because we spent probably, like 40 minutes there?
Yep.
Yeah,
It's
we
about 15 minutes a sandwich for him.
so we spent like 40 minutes there.
Big sandwich.
They had this game sitting out in like under a tent that you could play without an appointment.
All right.
So I played a game called Sundred. Sundered.
I actually have a beta code for that for Steam, which I can't use.
Yeah.
It's a cool game.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
They have one animator doing that whole thing. Or
You didn't see that at PSX? I thought you had the appointment for that at PSX.
no, I didn't.
Andy, did you play that?
I recognize the name, but I don't remember playing it.
I thought we had an appointment for it at PSX.
We had like 2 appointments that got like canceled though.
No, this one didn't get canceled.
Okay.
It might have been that I just didn't make. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
It's a cool game.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Well, if you have a decent laptop PC or something you want the code, I can give it to you.
Yeah, I could probably run that on that.
I'm gonna give it to you.
But so I played that, and then I played a game, Sonnenbrenner. That's a 3/4 top-down game. It's basically Zelda, but procedurally generated.
Okay.
It's also co-op because you play a character and you have like a little floating robot with you.
Yeah.
That
I've
can-
heard of this one.
That the robot's like invincible, so the second player is just really gathering resources
Okay.
and just helping out, like scanning areas. So it can't die. He actually mentioned the developer was there. He mentioned like that's good for like a kid that's playing.
Sure.
But then he also talked about the characters dropping acid and stuff. So I don't know how good that is for a kid to see, but it looks pretty cool. I only played a little bit. It was outside with like the tent, but the sun was right on the screen.
Oh, okay.
So it's one of those scenes where I could only play for a couple minutes before the sun was just too much, and it was just
Right.
like I can't see anything
Right.
that's happening right now.
Yeah.
But right before I was gonna leave, I actually saw Steph. Yeah,
She's real.
I know. That's the first thing I said. She's like, Michael, right? And I was like, yeah, you're real. And she's like, yep, I am actually.
My word wasn't good enough for you.
I
She did do a live show with Josh and I and Joel like back in 2011.
that was on the internet though, right?
We have video of it.
Oh, there's video of it.
Wait,
Yeah, it was in L.A.
Oh,
I do have a picture of her. In
We have
the
video.
audience with
again, that could be
boy.
shopped.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't know. Because over the last 4 years, I talked about it like with her of like 4 years of going to E3 and just missing her by like like a
I
couple
never
minutes.
see her at E3.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen her since that year.
So we even took a photographic evidence that she
Nice.
exists.
And then
But
she got to meet Nolan Bushnell, and she put that picture up later. He was over there.
Damn.
He's the guy that started Atari. And,
oh, okay.
yeah.
So then she's like, "Are you
The look
gonna?"
on his face. Fucking MJC.
Oh, 20
Nolan
years.
Bushnell.
20 years before I was born,
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
says.
Yeah, because nobody knows who Nolan Bushnell is. Sorry, go.
Yeah. So she asked like, "Oh, are you gonna leave?" And I'm like, "No." She's like, I was like, "Well, I was gonna leave because I don't have any appointments or anything like that." And she's like, "Whatever you want to see, you got it." So she ended up
Wow.
taking me over into. She gave me to like one of the PR person says, "Show him whatever game he wants to see."
Wow.
So thank you, Steph. So I saw this game called Outreach.
That one I've heard of too. I just can't think of what the hell it is.
You play a Russian cosmonaut in the 1980s.
Okay.
What happened?
Story of MGC's life out of reach.
Andy is shorter. Andy, stand up. Sunglasses.
He's shorter, but he's a little wider, so it kind of throws things off.
I've got the girth.
Oh my god.
All right, so Outreach, it takes place in the 1980s. It's about Russian cosmonauts.
Ancient history for you, right?
Yeah.
It takes place in 86. I was born in 89, so it's 3 years before me.
Are
So,
they on a mission to find Crystal Pepsi?
oh, yeah, that was the thing, right?
Yes, it was.
They brought it back. Crystal
For some-
Pepsi,
some
yeah.
effing reason.
I don't drink Pepsi because Pepsi's trash.
I agree.
Trash.
Coke forever, yo.
Yep, real sugar.
Yep.
So it's about the voice actor was there, Adam Harrington.
Okay.
He's actually helping produce the game.
Wow.
He thinks he's been on the podcast.
Adam Harrington.
Adam Harrington, he was the voice of Wolf Bigby from the Wolf Among Us, and he's done voice acting for games for the last 15 years.
I've talked to him before, but
Yeah.
never on the podcast.
He knows my name,
Yeah,
apparently.
like he's like, I think I've been on.
You met him, but I don't think. Maybe you recorded something with him.
I thought he might have done. I thought he might have done something at Comic-Con or something, maybe.
Yeah, I don't think you
Possibly.
I don't think you ever had him on.
Yeah,
I
because
don't remember, but I would love to talk to him.
oh no, he wants to be on the show.
Or Josh probably interviewed him and never gave me the file.
Well,
Nope.
like I talked to him, and then I mentioned he was like, oh, PS Nation, like that's familiar. I think I've done something with you guys before, and I was like, no. So then I named the names, and I mentioned Josh's name. Like he was like Glenn. He's like, no, that doesn't sound too familiar. I mentioned Josh, and he's like, okay, I think I know
Yeah,
that name.
That guy. He's yeah.
Yeah,
You
Uh,
probably met him at Comic-Con.
The guy with the hat.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was-
Guy with the hat.
well, I mean, yeah, he's done like the Wolf Among Us, so it was probably at a Comic-Con at one point.
Wouldn't doubt it.
Or when you saw The Wolf Among Us a couple years ago at E3, you might have bumped into him.
No.
Yeah. But either way,
I didn't actually. I never saw that game at E3 for Telltale.
Oh,
I
okay.
got an appointment for it.
yeah. So either way, like he wants to be on the show, so
Too fucking bad. Thinks he can just ask his way onto the podcast? Shit.
yeah. So back to Outreach.
That's how Emery got here.
Yeah.
That's right.
So Outreach, they started off. They're like, "Do you like conspiracy theories?" And I was just like, "I like being up at the on the internet at 4 a.m. Of course, I like conspiracy theories." It's about the conspiracy theory of the lost cosmonaut, which is basically, what if Russia had sent astronauts to space before, like
Yuri
if they had
Gagarin?
failed missions or something like that.
Wait, one more time. What did you say the guy's name was?
Adam Harrington.
Well, my search is going to be all fucked up because it's Chaz's last name. I did a Google search and all I see is Chaz Harrington. Anyway, sorry.
So it's you're a cosmonaut and you're exploring the space station that no one knows is up there,
Okay.
and the crew members have disappeared.
Okay.
So the whole game is in a space station, zero gravity. In a space station, you're actually using the it was a Xbox controller because it's on PC right now, but they're working on PlayStation once they finish the PC.
Okay.
So it's zero gravity, so you're just floating and spinning like in the entire space station. But you use the left trigger to stop.
What visual? What are we looking at? Like, is it third person?
It's in first person,
Okay.
and it's pretty realistic looking. So it's not like like cartoony or anything like that. It's like realistic.
Okay.
So you're floating around the space station, spinning all that stuff. So you use the left trigger to stand still,
Okay.
and then you use the right trigger to like push yourself forward. So it's just basically like an exploration of the space station, and you're just trying to figure out what happened to these crew members that disappeared.
Okay.
You look at that. People are saying that you're low.
I'm low.
Yeah.
I'm low. No, looks fine.
How low can you go?
How low can you go? People need to open their ears.
I was trying to turn it so you could see it. So
Oh, all right.
Okay, so
I was probably holding the mic like way out because I was trying to find this Adam Harrington connection, which I didn't find.
yeah, so you're basically just exploring this space station. It's not really like a horror game. It's more of just like psychological, or just like you're just trying to unravel like the mystery. He said like there's not going to be any like, I don't believe there's going to be like any aliens or something like that. It's just going to be like what happened to these people in space.
Okay.
It was cool because at one point I had to leave the space station, and I had to like climb around the space station to get to like a different part of it.
Okay.
And so there's in the inside the shuttle and then outside of the shuttle.
Oh, okay.
And that's where it gets really tricky.
That's really loud.
Now it's loud.
No, now
Not
mine
you.
is like
Nobody's
I just-
saying anything in the chat.
I turned
yet,
it a
but-
little bit. No, I just turned the knob a little bit, and all of a sudden, whoosh.
My wife is awake for some reason, so she,
Angela, go to sleep.
and she was texting me that she literally said like this side of the room sounds low.
She is reinforcing my theory that Owen can actually take care of himself, because if she's up this late, I mean, come on.
Oh, he's awake. That's why she's awake.
Oh, okay.
So-
Because he hears Daddy's voice.
No, just
Oh, I miss my daddy.
You just got owned.
Yeah.
it's all good.
Wait, what? I didn't even. Oh.
See, now you get to
shit.
deal with what I get to deal with. She says now you're too loud.
I'll just hold the microphone farther away from my mouth. How about that? All right. Sorry.
No, we're good. She didn't want you to be upset with the recording. That's all.
I don't give a fuck. I don't.
So there's like crazy realistic, not like crazy like platforming outside of the space station, where you're floating around and then you have to make sure you like launch yourself to grab like handles around the PlayStation space station.
Oh, yeah. I've
So-
seen this game.
Grab
Okay.
handles around the
Yeah.
PlayStation.
It's really difficult. And it's really nerve wracking when you're out there because there's nothing holding you to
Right.
the space station. So if you miss that the handle, you're just gonna fly back
You're
and
just
then
gonna
you're
float.
dead. The game does checkpoint pretty good. Of the last handle you grabbed is where you'll respawn.
Oh.
because I did die like 3-4 times, just because it is really hard to deal with. Especially it took a while to get used to floating.
Hard to get a handle on it, right?
Yeah. Take them off. Okay, toss them.
Now this ought to be interesting.
No. Just wait for
I
him to put 'em
approve
on.
of tonight. Everyone's getting in
How
on
did
it.
these
It's
become
good.
the pun glasses?
I made that yesterday, and it just stuck.
Oh.
Because it's almost
Dope.
like during the day, like when we're at a store or something like that, and like Andy wants to pick up a $2 candy bar, MJC's like, "I'll buy it for you, but you got to eat like 4 puns tonight."
Yeah, so that's what I've been. So and I don't even give him a choice. I just tell him like, I got it, but you have to eat your next pun,
Oh my god.
and then he does, and because you can tell, because his face just wants to explode when he has to hold one in.
Yeah.
Oh, it's really cool. They're going for like he kept saying like historical fiction, like they want to keep it as realistic and accurate as possible, but also play around with like the conspiracy theory stuff. They actually went the extra mile with like the music, where he said the composer who lives in LA actually had 2 1980s synths from
Oh, cool.
Russia sent to LA so he can compose the whole soundtrack on them. So they did stuff like that because they want to be as authentic as they can be with the game. It just sounds really cool. And again, they're hoping to have it done for PC at the end of this year, and then work on the PlayStation later
For the
on.
next 4 years.
Yeah.
Tell them about the dillies.
Oh, yeah. So they had genital jousting there.
Oh, I saw some pictures of the controllers.
Yeah, but Emmer didn't want to play because of the controllers.
Oh, you wuss.
Oh, come
I would have played
on.
with the rainbow one.
He didn't want it. He's like, I'm not touching that flesh-colored one.
Yeah, so for people that don't
You
know,
wuss.
the controllers for this game that they had set up were all big dildos.
Yeah.
Like, big.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of who put the picture up there, but I saw the picture on Facebook and just started laughing.
Yeah,
That game is hilarious.
It is.
I
It's
have it
pretty
on my
messed up.
laptop if we want to play it later, and it supports DualShock 4s.
You know, we're talking about playing genital jousting, and we're 6 dudes in an apartment.
It's the only way to play it.
Yeah.
Oh, you're playing it, Dave.
First guy to put his fingers to his nose plays automatically.
No, I'm going to show you that game later. It's great.
I've played it.
No, I'm talking about Emra.
Oh.
Because they didn't have it running because no one wanted to play it.
He's going to show you how
Oh
to
my
genital joust
Are you
later.
serious?
Yeah, like they had the dude.
If I
Oh my
touch that, that
gosh.
means I'm gay, right?
Yeah, they had like a dude, there was like a couch in front of like a big projector, and they had the controllers there, and the guy was constantly telling people like, want to play, and everyone was just like trying to like look away. Or just, like,
Oh
no.
my god.
Like I'm sure if I would have like just been like, I'm gonna play, maybe people would have joined.
I mean, there is one fear, and that is that somebody's going to take pictures of you doing it, and you're just like grabbing onto these big.
I'm walking in tomorrow like this,
Okay,
and I'm playing.
Okay, can we have?
I'll
we
give
can
you
get
$1
them to do a PS Nation genital jousting competition tomorrow.
I'm walking in tomorrow like this, and I'm playing.
Okay, no, I will go with you
Absolutely.
then. We'll eat meatballs and play genital jousting.
That's terrible
Balls
phrasing.
in your mouth with genital jousting.
Are we
Oh
not doing
yeah.
phrasing anymore?
I am playing
Wow.
like this. Absolutely.
All right.
I probably will go back to Devolver tomorrow. 'cause
Maybe
they have
I'll
more
just
stuff.
periscope that for the
I'd like
entertainment.
to,
of
but I
it.
don't know if I'll make it. What's that?
I say maybe we'll periscope that for everybody else.
There you go. Or well, we'll have the video camera tomorrow, so we
yeah.
can have some high def action.
Yeah, we'll send
4K
some.
genital jousting.
Well, the camera doesn't do 4K, but it does damn good at 1080p.
Do we have 4 cameras? That's like 4K, right? God. Just put them over
Give him the
each other.
sunglasses. Give him the sunglasses.
That wasn't even a pun, but okay.
It was just bad though. It was so stupid.
So these are pun and dad jokes. Glasses.
Those are pun glasses.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Josh, or who's next?
You look like
looks
you're
like-
on the. You look like you're an extra in the porn version of Chips.
No, he looks like a marionette of Arnold Schwarzenegger in the Terminator.
I love the evolution though, because he has not shaved since he got here, and you can start seeing it like this shadow come through like 4 days later.
I get 5 o'clock shadow a week later. Yeah.
Can you talk about the VR thing about Outreach?
I don't know.
You
Okay.
don't know that
Vague.
you can talk about it or not.
I don't
or-
because it was one of those things where it's not going to happen.
Oh,
But they tried.
okay.
But the zero gravity thing is really hard to do with that game because you were constantly spinning
Okay.
in that game. So they said they were
Oh,
looking
yeah.
into it, but like they were going to do it on Oculus, but how Oculus has a rating of like how sick you're going to get,
Yeah.
they were hitting the lowest rating for
Ah.
sickness just because of the way the game was built.
Sure.
So
That makes sense if you're always spinning around and everything.
Yeah, but Adam Harrington says like I'm a PlayStation guy, so that was one of the first things he tried pushing until they started to work on it and were like, we are going to make people
So maybe
sick.
he threw up playing the game.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it looked like they looked into it with like the Oculus, but the rating was too low to even try. Because I didn't know Oculus even had like a rating scale
Yeah.
thing, but they do, and
They were the ones that kind of established that. I think everybody else uses that now, but or something like it. But that was one of the first like core things that they had out there for like kind of the VR rules. It's almost like the laws of robotics, you know. It's the laws of VR via Oculus.
Yeah, one of the funny things he mentioned, he's just like, yeah, you know how he's like, you know how voice actors are on strike right now.
Yeah.
He's like, well, since voice actors don't get residuals on games, I'm just going to start making games now.
Not a bad idea.
So that's what he's doing now. Now he's a producer on video games,
Sure.
which
Sure.
is actually like a really good idea. So,
Definitely.
Yeah.
Nice. Is that it for over across the street at the Hooters parking lot?
Yeah, they had a cider.
Ooh.
That was good. Had one cider. They checked the shit out of my ID.
I don't blame them.
they're like, I was like, can I get a cider? And they're like, yeah.
Where's your dad?
No, the first thing he says, he's like, did you just turn 21? And I was just like, nah, I'm 27. He's like, all right, I got to see that ID. I showed him the ID. Then, of course, assholes behind him is like, you better check that real good. And then he's just like shaking it, like putting it up to light. I'm like,
What?
Yeah, he was just like,
Was he like trying to dry the ink for you?
yeah. And it was just one of those things where it's just like in my head, I'm just like, I just replaced the ID that got bent from like 3 E3s ago.
Oh yeah.
Because I forgot where we were, where the guy just like bent I think when we went to the like Bethesda party,
I think so. Yeah.
one of the dudes just like bent the hell out of my ID, and I've had that ID bent for like 3 years. And I just got that replaced.
Jesus.
Cider.
Oh,
Heading for the old mill. No, we're not. Well, let's go to the old mill anyway. Get some cider.
Angry Orchard is great.
Oh my god.
You just don't like flavor.
No, I just don't like girl drinks.
He doesn't
Well,
like-
that's not true because I love Malibu and pineapple.
He doesn't want to take a trip to Flavatown.
Take a trip to Flavor Country. Em and Jason. Hey, Jason. What about Warner Brothers?
Jason?
Jason. I was gonna hit X later and try to get Jason.
You start,
Okay.
since you showed up late.
So what?
To the appointment.
No, not at all.
What time did the appointment start, Emra?
4:15.
No, 4:00.
Nope. It actually started at 4:15.
Really? Because it's on
It
the calendar.
started at
That's
4,
bullshit.
but you showed up late.
Nope. I was there at
Here's the
3:52.
Here's the calendar.
I was
entry
there
right
at
here.
3:52,
Here's the calendar entry right here. It
and
says
I
4
got
o'clock.
into the theater for the 4:15 showing.
Oh, the theater showing was at 4:15.
Mm-hmm.
But the
Yeah.
calendar appointment was 4 o'clock.
Well, that calendar is bullshit.
No, because the calendar reflects what the email said.
That is the Torgo calendar. You do not send that name.
Excuse me. Wasn't an attack on you.
That
I think it
whiskey
was,
just
actually.
hit hard.
That was a direct shot across my
That
bow.
pork and whiskey went to his head.
Gonna RPG your copter later.
So tell us about it.
This thing is not going up until like tomorrow night. By the way,
War Shadow
it's
Mordor.
midnight. There's no fucking way I'm staying up to edit this thing tonight.
Mordor.
Shadow of War.
So the live stream viewers are getting exclusive.
They are. They're getting
a Microsoft
daily
exclusive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's timed.
Timed exclusive. There you go.
Damn it,
Yeah.
Amy.
Yeah.
That wasn't really a pun.
No, shit
Take that
jokes
shit.
now too. Apparently.
Take those glasses and shut up. All right.
Tell us about it.
Emma and
Hey.
Dave are the only one not to wear the
Middle
glasses
Earth,
yet.
Shadow of War
Remember War
is
a
what
little
it's called. It's the sequel to Middle Earth, Shadow of Mordor.
There's a lot of
So-
shadows in that place.
Yeah. So it has all the bells
It's a
and
sequel to
whistles that a
Dying Light.
sequel would have. It's looks better.
Take them off, put them on again.
Hurry up! I want to go to
So
sleep.
they keep interrupting me. Okay, so the big thing, the big focus
We
was
still
the
gotta talk about Lego. You ain't going to
evolution of the Nemesis mode, Nemesis system.
Nemesis system. Yeah.
Right. So that was a big thing in the first one. All you guys familiar with the Nemesis system?
We are
Yes, sir.
for this particular instance. We all are
I see.
completely.
Okay. Just keep it moving. I got
It's a
you.
Resident Evil boss.
Completely.
Okay, yeah. So, basically, this time you can recruit and keep some orcs on your own side. So you have an army that you build for yourself through the Nemesis system as well.
And you can use the ring to influence them too.
Yep. You take over them and all that stuff.
I pay attention.
So they showed us, and we got to play a sequence where you have an orc kind of empire type of castle camp out place thingy, and you are attacking their base with
did
your
you
orcs.
say camp out castle?
Yeah,
A
you get
camp
what
out
I'm saying?
castle
Like a base, I guess.
that you camp out in,
Yeah, overnight.
like with Boy Scouts training, like a Boy Scout training facility.
An orc RVs.
Yeah, and they get their merit badges for being orcs.
Yep.
Second, I thought Andy was getting the
We're making
glasses ready.
s'mores.
Get a good scout.
So you
hunt
can
somewhere.
give it to him. So you can basically attack their base.
And you're gonna give it to.
What?
You're doing.
Okay.
Anyway,
So
so when you're done camping out,
yes, you attack their base with your own orcs, and they have a couple of I don't know what you call it, chiefs or lieutenants under the boss guy.
sure.
And you can
Now it sounds
make
like the mob.
Yep, kind of like that. You can make it easier to attack the base by taking those guys out first.
Sure.
You can analyze their weaknesses. You can use points on your skill tree to make yourself have things that are strong against those weaknesses.
This is all stuff from the first game too, right?
No, not the attacking the base thing.
Well, but
But the
attacking
weakness
the base
strength
camps was,
thing.
you could do that.
Yeah, you could do that. But this time you have like a whole nother element to it.
Okay.
By assigning those same strengths against those weaknesses to
Sure.
your own guys. And even during the fight, you can recruit them if you'd like and have them fight on your side right on the spot.
You know how you do that?
Oh.
Ziploc bags of candy.
That's a Langford thing.
Well,
It's a Scout
So
original too.
although, side note, I took the Sony PR managers some chocolate today, and they were like, "This is awesome! This is way better than lollipops." It's women; they love their chocolate. Just saying. It did well for us. Look at him over there, not saying a word. He's just got his sunglasses on, making his little. You need like your crew around you now. Sit around and drink some.
He's got right
Yeah.
there.
But now you need some really shitty overpriced
Josh
chocolate.
Langford in the
When I put the
PlayStation
bag of
All-Stars.
candy with the card at the Nyko booth, she's like, "Oh, you're back." Yeah.
Jesus. All right, sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No problem. So after that, we got to watch it, and then we got to try it, and the person giving the demo was way better than me, so I died a bunch of times.
Well, I would hope so. They probably played it
And
for.
they actually died once, too.
Oh.
Right on stream. Some scary stuff. But she came back, she killed it, and then we gave her a round of applause. I tried to do it the same way. It failed miserably because there's so many different variations on what could happen. The guy at the top, he kind of influences the base, so it looks different when you enter his den depending on how he was brought up through the Nemesis system. So
Sure.
if he's scared of those big dog-looking things, the Karagors, they won't be in his base. He won't be riding one. Things like that.
I just want to know how much walking is in this game.
You can ride the Karagor. You
Yeah.
can fast travel.
A lot of walking, probably.
You got some walk. You got speed bursts when you're a wraith. What's that?
We can take the ring off and throw it in the volcano. That was you walk for like 8 hours. You take the ring off and you just look at it, and then you throw it in the.
Here's
throw it in
the
lava.
first movie.
Yeah.
So
Watch
that was about
Clerks
it.
2 sometime. All right,
Then I met you guys at the media room.
Warner.
Yeah, the reason you got in is because I dropped all that candy on them.
Score.
Preach,
No.
DJ Jazzy Trevor.
Actually, the girl there, it's the same girl at the desk. She knows me, and she's like, "You did it again! Yes, I love this candy."
Nice.
She's so excited. But so I was there looking at the 3 Lego games that are available.
Wow. Just go into that cookie jar.
Yep.
Can I go to bed?
And
No, you can't.
well, I wanted to talk to Arthur Parsons, who is now running all of this stuff.
You just thought that he had another exclusive toy for you.
No, I know there aren't any going on this year, but he was at a PlayStation live stream at the time I was in the booth, so I was like, I'm not going to get to see him. So I sat down to play Lego Marvel Superheroes 2 first, and the opening cinematic was pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
Just the work they did on it is insane, and it's all Guardians of the Galaxy
Sure.
that you start off with and everything. And I played that for a little while. It was really cool, and then I moved over to Lego Dimensions, and it was all the Powerpuff Girls, Teen Titans Go, and Beetlejuice, because they're Wave 9. They're coming out July 9th, I think.
Okay.
I forget the exact date, but soon. So I was talking to the guy about that, and he was all excited because I know Lego Dimensions. I have all the Lego Dimensions, and a lot of people that come up to the booth, he has to explain a lot to them,
Sure.
and how it all works and everything. So we were just messing around in there and discussing all that. And then I turned, and there's Arthur Parsons waiting for me with my handler. She's like, he's here. So he and I ended up talking for like a half hour.
Cool.
About all the stuff he's doing, because now he has basically taken over all of it at this
Nice.
point. So we had talked about Lego Marvel Superheroes, and he told me that it takes place... The beginning of that game with Guardians all takes place before the end of Lego Marvel Superheroes 1.
Okay.
And then you get to the end of it, and then they kind of converge, and all these characters come in, and it becomes this huge story. And I had asked him about new mechanics. Did they bring over the multi-builds from Star Wars or any of that? And he said no, which I said yay. And he agreed that they just didn't quite work the way that they wanted them to.
Sure.
Really, it was supposed to be about giving you a choice, but it was really, you weren't really given a choice. It was just, you do A, you do B, and that's it. So, what they're doing there, though, you get into the hub worlds, and you can do a whole bunch of, you don't have to do anything in a specific order. You can really go all over the place with it. But all the characters break off into groups, kind of, and they'll do their own stories, and you can do all the stories with them. You can do some stories with these guys, and the stories will intermingle, and they'll come back together, and it's a huge undertaking. But they've been planning it since the first one ended.
Okay.
Then had all these other things to do. For Lego Worlds,
I'm just waiting for him to start taking a big dump, and we can all hear it. Huh?
I heard the seat go down.
Oh man. Now he just does that to piss me off.
Kiwi pushed the mic by the door.
Yeah. For those
For-
listening, Emma just like went into the bathroom. We're just waiting for him to have a big growler. Anyway.
for Lego Worlds,
Mhm.
I relayed Mason's request, which he laughed about. Mason's request was that he would be able to create his own custom vehicles, which
Okay.
is not available in that game right now. And he kind of laughed about it, and he said, yeah, we're looking at all that stuff. We're getting all the feedback from the community. They're really, really building on Lego Worlds in a
Cool.
big way. That's
Honestly, in a game like that, you'd think that would be a possibility to some extent.
and
You
it
really do.
it will likely come down the line. They have a small group working on it.
At
but,
least spaceship.
well, that's there now, which
Right.
freaked me out because one of the sets was a set I had when I was a kid, 1979 Lego Moon Base set, and my brother took it at some point and
Dick.
sold it, lost it, did whatever with it. I don't know where it is. So I was given this for my birthday a couple months ago. Built it with Mason, all excited. It's sitting in the house. I walk into E3, I walk up to the WB booth, and there it is. The exact same set I just built is
Sure.
sitting there, along with the box for one of them and a couple of the other Moonbase sets and everything.
Mm.
And I was talking to him about that, and he was laughing about that. He said, "You have no idea what we went through to track that down over the internet, to
Yeah.
track down all those different things and the box and all that stuff to get that, because we couldn't find it anywhere. We didn't have it, and nobody
Right.
had it."
Right.
So they were probably outbidding my wife when she was trying to get it for me.
Wow.
But that's what they've added to Lego Worlds right now is all the moon stuff.
Oh my God, Emra! It's like 60 degrees in here. Holy shit! Sorry.
So they've added all that 1970s moon stuff to it.
Cool.
With the spacemen
With the
and
awesome
everything.
fonts.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing. It's amazing. I messed around with that for a little while. But he told me a bunch of stuff that I can't really talk about
Mm.
in public. It's very cool. They have I forget how many different teams now, like 9 different teams working on
Wow.
multiple projects. And what they found, what they're happier with now, what works better for them is they have smaller teams working for longer times
Mm.
on projects, so that they can do all these different things, and it's working for them. Everything is just working really well right now for all the Lego games. So they're all very happy with how it's all going.
Cool.
As for Lego Dimensions, and is Wave 9 going to be the end? He said they are constantly reevaluating, and when Wave 9 comes out and it's all said and done, they're going to reevaluate and decide where to go with it. Whether they add on new stuff for the existing IPs, whether they bring in more IPs, nothing is set in stone right now. They really have no idea what's going to happen with it.
So speaking of Toys to Life stuff,
Mm-hmm.
when I was in my last appointment today with Big Ben, a group
Yes.
of people came in, about 6 or 7 people, and all their badges said Disney Interactive.
Really?
Yeah. They were just there to check stuff out. But I was like, Disney Interactive? What? So, just a little tidbit there.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, so we don't know what's going on with any of the Toys to Life things at this point. I mean,
Right.
Skylanders, they said, Activision said a couple months ago, they're going to keep releasing
Yeah.
newer figures and add on DLC packs and things like that, but no new game yet. And Lego Dimensions, they're hitting Wave 9, and no new word on any new properties or anything yet.
Right.
So, but with the properties that are there, there's enough gameplay to last somebody years.
Sure.
If they buy all of them and try to 100% all of that, it could last years. It's insane how much content is in each of those packs.
Sure.
So, I that's what I think. I think it's a little overwhelming already
Mhm.
for people and everything that's in there. So,
Sure.
but that was the last we saw on the show floor, and then we went to the indie mix thing.
Okay.
And saw a bunch of indie games.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Andy went all RPG.
Yep. Took out a rocket-propelled grenade and
Yep.
all over the place.
So which you
Put
you
'em on.
saw like 2 RPG games, right?
Yeah. Let me pull out my telephone here because I wrote them down.
But I did have another appointment at.
Oh, you did?
Oh, you had
E3.
Big
Oh.
Ben.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Which one?
So I saw 3 games there. First one was Outcast Second Contact, which is a remake of a game from 1999 just called Outcast, which was a PC game made in all of voxels. It was one of the first kind of open world adventure games, third person, kind of sci-fi elements to it.
That was the text message I sent you
Okay.
about why does that man with the visor look like Nathan Drake?
Oh, because I don't know what the fuck you were talking about.
Because I was right behind you while you were doing that appointment,
You were?
but I was behind the rope.
Oh.
I passed by and I saw you sitting there playing it.
You're like some space marine or something that gets shot to a different planet and what?
Just briefly, there was a question on the stream about how many were there kids at E3. Yeah, any kids that were there were kids of celebrities that came, or
Yeah, like
kids
Jack
of
Black's
industry
kids
people.
were there.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
weren't. Kids can't get
I'm
into
pretty sure you had to be
E3.
17 to buy a badge.
Yeah.
Most of them, like, they had the red band, which is like industry or special guests.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Kids can't just
Well, and we
You
had
can't-
MJC with us, so.
like I couldn't buy a badge to E3 and bring my son.
Right.
You need to be like in the industry or a celebrity or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just for the stream.
Okay.
So
Or esports competitor.
Yes. Or an esports competitor. But then you have to be a cute girl and be sponsored to be there.
No, well, esports people, they burn out at 16.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's a good point. Good point. All right. It's fucking late. So Outcast Seconds Contact, they rebuilt this whole game in Unity. It looks really good. It doesn't. Again, it's not one of those games that looks like Uncharted, but it looks good and it played pretty well. I didn't have headphones, but apparently they did a lot more voicing for a lot of the NPCs. It seemed like a pretty cool story, so it's one I definitely want to check out. But they don't have a release window on it yet that I don't believe, at least. Then I played WRC 7, which is a rally cross game. Pretty long-standing series. They redid a lot of the stuff on the new on cars. They brought the cars in from WRC 6 as well, so you can see the differences. Raced pretty well. I did a full race or a full stretch, and didn't do too bad because I was just using a controller. It felt a lot better than WRC 6 for sure. The one thing that kind of worries me a little bit is that it doesn't seem to actually have like a career mode. It just seems to have solo multiplayer, and then they have like a challenge system built in, and it'll actually like have new challenges every week, and some of the stuff will even be based on real events that are happening that week in real life. So that's kind of neat. No, it looked really good, and it played well, so I think it's going to be a winner for people that like rally games. And they've got, I don't remember all the details, but they've got a ton of courses, and they've got tarmac, gravel, snow, mud, etc. So seems like it's going to be pretty good. And then lastly, I played Hunting Simulator, which is not like the old Activision games that were kind of on rails. This is one that you can. It's a fully open world. You can walk anywhere, but it actually is kind of more of a simulator. Like you have sprays and urine to put on yourself to throw off the scent. And
I was going to ask about the urine.
you actually have to make sure that you're not upwind from or any of the animals. You have to walk really silently, and the people
Yeah.
I was watching play it were just like running right toward this shit, and I'm like,
do you have a camouflage wallet?
I don't know if you have a camouflage wallet. You may have a bright orange wallet, but I don't know.
Do you have camouflaged ammo? Camo ammo?
There you go.
They didn't see it.
Take them
coming.
off, put them back on.
That was a joke about the DLC for that one
No,
game.
there was DLC.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
there was
right.
camo ammo DLC.
That was
That's
on
not a-
That's
that was on
right.
the
Yeah.
podcast.
All right, we'll
I
let
got
that one
you.
go.
I got
There we
you.
go. Good. I'm
We'll
not.
let that
I'm
one
not
go.
crazy yet.
Got you, brother.
I mean, it seemed pretty neat. I don't know if I would play it all the time, but it was actually pretty cool. I mean, I didn't play it very long, but I definitely like to give it a try. But it's got a full day-night cycle. It's got a lot of pretty cool stuff and a lot of different locales. I want to say there was like 10 or 12 different locales and a lot of options. I think it was like 12 or 14 different type of animal you can hunt. From like little rabbits all the way up. Like this dude, I think he was shooting a pretty high caliber rifle and he took out a rabbit, and I'm like, dude, you just exploded it. So, but it's neat. Like you can train with like a tracker, or you can train with somebody to increase your gun skills or your hunting skills. And if you do that, like if you don't train with somebody and you shoot an animal, you can mess up the meat a lot more, or it's
Like
not a trophy
Elix.
anymore. Huh?
Like Elix, the game I saw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was some stuff like that in here, though. I don't know. I didn't really get a lot of the specifics, but there was some stuff like that in it.
Which sounds interesting because there obviously is a correct way and an incorrect way to do
Oh, yeah.
certain things.
Well, there is. I mean,
Yeah.
you want to shoot a bigger animal in the heart. You don't
Right.
want to mess up the meat.
Reminds me of that '70s show when anyone watched it, when Eric went hunting
I
with
don't
his
think I ever
dad.
saw that one.
He shot the buck, and the next that they're having dinner, and they're all just spitting out pellets
Oh,
because they had to put a couple shots in them.
nice. Well, yeah. Well, the best that '70s show was when he wanted to take the car out in the winter, and the dad's like, take this candle and put it in the
Yeah,
can,
he had to,
and,
like, figure
and he
it
didn't
out.
know what it was all about. And I was like, oh my god, that's me growing up. Yeah, because it took place in a town I lived in. Anyway, it seemed neat. Again, I don't think they really gave me a release window at all. They're going to send me all the information tomorrow. I don't know what price is or anything, but it was an interesting take on it because the Activision ones always had like this weird storyline involved, and this one is more just about going out and hunting. So it was pretty cool. It was neat. I don't know if I'd paid $60 for it. I might pay 40. But yeah. So now you can go to the mix.
It's RPGs.
RPGs.
First one I found was a game called Le Grand Legacy.
Okay.
So it was made by some guy from Indonesia, and he kind of starts to explaining it, and he's like throwing out like every RPG under the sun. Oh, it's like Suikoden and Final Fantasy and like Chrono Cross, and like he's just like naming every RPG ever.
Okay.
But it was pretty interesting. It was, clearly a small kind of thing because it was 3D graphics, but not like, amazing, bombastic. It was, kind of modest, but decent
Sure.
art style and everything. And I just played like a small chunk of it, so I don't know how like progression goes or whatever. But it seemed pretty cool. Turn-based, like select all your attacks and then attack the enemies, and
Yeah.
then
That was his thing, that he felt that there weren't a whole lot of turn-based
Yeah.
out there anymore, and when I looked at it, it had that old Final Fantasy
yeah.
like 7 feel to it,
Yeah.
almost in a way.
But like the one addition he had to it was after you selected your attacks, each of your characters would have like basically a QTE prompt, where like a little meter would slide down. You had to hit it at the right time, which was annoying because it was an Xbox controller, and so it'd be like press X, and I'm like, oh shit,
He
that's
kept, he
hey.
kept hitting the wrong thing. He kept,
Yeah.
he kept fucking
Nice.
up. It was so funny to watch.
But yeah, other than that, it was all right. I got a little bit lost, like trying to figure out where to go. But I think part of that was, I just kind of got dumped into the thing, so I don't even know like where I started and what the mission was or whatever. But
Okay.
And then Josh signed me up to play Area,
Yeah.
yeah, which they touted as a rhythmic themed or a music themed RPG. So like the weapons are all like musical weapons, like musical instruments being used as weapons, kind of thing.
So this is music videos from the '80s,
Yeah,
In a way, yeah.
yeah.
where like you'd be in what's Patton Oswalt's thing about? No, I have to put this on the end of the podcast. Where like you're in a Sparks factory, and you're like deflecting bullets with your rock,
wasn't quite like that.
like Ted Nugent.
But it was kind of like it was an action RPG. Felt a little bit stiff to me, and it seems like I think he said it's coming out like this month on Steam.
Oh jeez.
With PS4 coming out later, so I don't know how much.
Oh,
if it's
so in
older
other
build or
words,
something,
early
but
access, so he can have a beta.
It looked nice.
Maybe
though.
it looked very nice. I liked the art style, but playing it felt just a little bit stiff. Like I kind of got the hang of it after a while. But then I'm fighting the boss, and it's like okay, I gotta like run away for like 5 minutes, and then turn around, like hit a couple times, and then run away again. And
Okay.
it was a little bit hard to avoid the boss's attacks. But again, like I just kind of got dumped into it, so I didn't get the tutorials. I'm pressing like all the buttons to see if there's like a dodge or special skills or anything, and nothing was coming up. So either they weren't unlocked or I was not doing something right. But it was definitely looked good, and that was another. I think that guy was from like Norway or something. So lots of interesting games from all over the world. And but yeah, so those were the 2 games that I played there.
All right.
Ate some cookies.
I got to play Guts, which was awesome.
Oh, I
The
wanted to
card-
play that, but it was always busy.
The
It was
card
so
game?
cool. No, it's a fighting game, but the idea of it is there's no health bars or anything like that.
Oh, is this one where you have to cut
you
off
build up, yeah,
limbs and everything?
Yes.
And okay,
yeah.
I actually saw this game not too long ago.
What are you talking about? Your whole arm's missing.
You're fighting back and forth. You're building up
Very
a
bad
special
British
meter
accent,
on the
but-
sides. And when the special
You play
meter
fight?
hits the limit,
Yeah.
You just
you
don't
have a
deserve
chance
laugh.
to hack off a limb of your
Right.
opponent. But you can miss. You can mistime it and not hit them, and then your meter drops, and you just have to keep fighting again.
Right.
So you're fighting, and the idea is you have to hack off all 4 limbs, and then the last shot is to take their head off.
Right.
But it becomes hilarious when you're fighting and somebody's hopping around on one leg with
Yeah.
no arms trying to...
You can't just take the head off first.
No.
Oh.
It's in order. It's the arms, then the legs, and then the head comes off.
How the fuck did I see it?
It's fun. It's really cool.
I must have saw a video.
Then
You got to play Nidhogg, right?
I did play Nidhogg too. Yeah.
Nice.
Game is hard as hell.
Great.
No,
I
it's
love
Nidhogg.
that game.
It's the same as Nidhogg, but the new art style is awesome.
Yeah, it did look really good.
But he looks like Homer Simpson. It's so weird.
He kind of does, yeah.
Yeah.
It's still. I'm still not used to the new art style, but I like the way it animate, like the animation.
Oh,
is
yeah,
great.
the
The animation's
awesome on
awesome, and it's random weapons.
Yep.
It's so much fun. It's just hilarious. The animation, all the death animations and everything that are in there
Right.
are just fantastic. So if you like Nidhogg, this is all that and more. It's a ton of fun.
Nice.
We saw a game called Stifled. Didn't get to play it though. It
She just
is
got something on that.
yeah, PlayStation VR. It looks almost wireframey in a way, because what happens is you're in some world. In the trailer that was right next to it, it looks all gorgeous graphics and everything, and then everything kind of goes dark, and it's all almost kind of an echolocation thing. So as you're walking, your footsteps are, kind of allowing you to see the world through echolocation. And if you speak, the PlayStation VR picks up the microphone, picks up your voice,
Right.
and will use that to amplify, kind of the area. But you have to be careful because there are bad things there, and they can hear you and then come after you. So it's kind of a creepy exploration type thing where you have to make noise to be able to see where you're going, but you have to be careful and quiet so you don't get attacked.
Right.
It was a really cool concept, and it looked really good. There was somebody playing it, and we didn't get a chance to play it. We didn't have time, but I talked to the guys, and I wanted to get more information on it and everything, and see what we could do with it. But it looks really cool.
Sure. That looks pretty cool. I
Um,
remember seeing this now.
and I think that was all I saw or played.
I saw a game called Semblance.
Okay.
That's a platformer, but the trick with that one is the environment, like the platforms, are made of Play-Doh, basically.
Okay.
So the puzzles are basically manipulating the environment to find your way through to the end of the level.
Okay.
So there's like a normal platform, and you would just constantly jump up and hit it so you can mutate it to where it can like move up higher.
Okay.
And stuff like that. I only got to like watch it for a couple minutes because the cool thing with the way it was set up is there was a station after station, just like in a big like
Sure.
circle. So I was just trying to hit as many games as possible because they also kind of gave us a time limit of just like kind of have to be out by like 9 because they have another.
Yeah, they had
coming
another
in.
wave. Yeah.
Yeah. So that game looks cool though. I think that's only on Xbox and PC. So, and then
Timed console exclusive.
another game I saw was called Distant. That one, it's a platformer, but it's a really simplistic. Like, he doesn't want it. The developer didn't want it to be like too over challenging. He wanted it to be more of like a Zen-like experience. So it's not
Sure.
punishing. It's just a simple platformer for people to enjoy. The art style's really simple, but it's, like bright colors.
Mhm.
It looks really nice, but there's not much like to it because of the type of experience he's trying to go to.
Okay.
And then I saw I think Emra saw it too.
Road Redemption. Yep. Spiritual successor to Road Rash, sort of gameplay,
Really?
but it's a little bit has more to it now. You have different weapons that you can switch between on your.
See, I think that's too much already.
G-pad.
I think if they're going to try to capture what Road Rash was, they shouldn't go overboard.
You got the right swing, the left swing. I don't know if Road Rash had all that. You got a kick that just kind of auto tracks.
I don't remember if you. I was never that big of a Road Rash fan.
I was, but when I talked to the guy, I was like, "Well, the only Road Rash I know is 64." He's like, "That's the worst one." I'm
It
like,
is.
I am aware it's the
Yeah.
worst one, but it's the only one I know. Yeah, but I don't think there was a kick in Road Rash. I think you just had right and left hits.
Yeah. I don't
But
remember
this one
anymore.
worked well. Said 16-player online.
Yep.
Jeez.
Um,
I don't know how that'll play. All right.
Yeah. He said you have multiple weapons on the D-pad that you can
Okay.
switch between. There'll be some bikers have guns, but I didn't see any of that. So it looks like it might get a little more complicated than it should.
Okay.
It should just be a tire iron like God intended.
Or chain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was it for me.
What is the one that we played together?
We played a game together.
No, like you played it and then I played it.
Riverbound.
Yeah, that's that 2D like 8-bit hero game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was
River Bond.
Bond. Okay.
yeah. I knew we got the name wrong. I have the card. It's just not with me. That one, like, I seemed to have some really rough luck when I was there because I would pick something up and I would talk to the person. Hey, do you want to play the game? Yeah, and it was always like, oh, it's Steam Early Access. I'm like, oh, cool. Is it coming to PS4? I hope so.
Yeah. Well.
Well, that's why I looked on the.
Yeah, not all of them had that.
Well, anything that said PS4
Yeah.
was those were the ones I stopped at.
Yeah, well,
I
those
also
ones, for me,
saw-
those seem to have lines.
Yeah, I also saw very briefly Shakedown Hawaii. Brian Provinciano was there.
Nice.
I said hi to him and just took a look because there were people around checking it all out. And I asked him when the PSP version was coming. He said he had it running very, very slowly on the PSP. He said his biggest problem is that there's only 24 megs of memory
Right.
on the PSP, so it's tough. But he's actually working on it.
That guy's
Uh,
insane.
But it looked good. It still looks good. So yeah, he was just showing people some missions and things like that.
Cool.
But what else?
Riverbound?
Was that?
Yeah, that Riverbound played like a top-down, 3/4 view, 8-bit style game. Not really sure exactly what was going on in it, but you had like a dash mechanic and a slightly twin. There was just a lot of stuff going on. You had a dodge mechanic, a dash mechanic, a shield mechanic, a shooting mechanic, and it was all like a fully destructible Minecraft-looking what game? 8-bit hero.
Yeah.
Yeah, 8-bit hero look to it. 4-player drop in, drop out co-op. It was just kind of like break up all the stuff, get coins, and then we fought this big boss at the end, and it was just kind of just a fun, just something that it's a local co-op only. So
Okay.
and again, she's like she said that she's hoping that it will come to PS4. Like
Sure.
they're still working on a lot of the, like I said, everything seemed to be like in Steam Early Access right now, which seems to be the route that most of them have been going lately.
Yeah.
A couple years ago, it was a lot of stuff was like indies. Were on PlayStation. You'd see stuff early on PlayStation,
Yeah.
and I feel like it's kind of shifted. But
Paid beta on early access. What the hell?
Road Redemptions is in early access right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
but it was cool. We saw. I mean, there was a lot of stuff there.
Yeah. Andy, anything else? You had the RPGs.
Those were the only two I played. I kind of there are a couple other that I kind of passed, but Like,
Okay.
I saw that Moonlighter game that I talked about yesterday, but I didn't. sit down
Lots of
and play it
mouses
again.
and keyboards.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Xbox controllers.
Nothing that was scheduled for PS4.
That's that sandwich though. What was it?
Oh,
That
turkey
sandwich was
and
scheduled for PS4.
provolone
What
with
is
a
it?
cranberry chanoute.
What?
I don't know, fancy word for jelly, perhaps.
There was a sandwich. It was just all like vegetables and like.
Oh, it's an actual. I thought it was like a sandwich game.
It was
or
like
something.
no, it was a croissant.
No, they're talking about the food now.
Well, no, because like he was like telling me what the sandwich was, and he couldn't explain it well enough. And I tried it and I bit it. I'm like, "There's no meat in this," and he's like, "I know."
There's a, the bread was a croissant,
Oh, buttery, flaky.
fluffy.
What he's saying is that he took the pork out and then ate it.
Oh man, it was all vegetable, man.
All right.
It actually tasted
On a
pretty
scale
good,
of 1
too.
to Fat Burger, how was the food there?
Too small.
Healthy.
Can we stop for tonight? I'm really tired.
Yep.
Okay.
I
good.
think that's the end of it.
Huh?
Yeah, I
I
think we're
think that's
done.
the end of it.
Yeah, it might
All
be.
right.
Right.
So if you're listening to this, this probably came out Thursday night because there's no effing way I'm staying up to edit this tonight. So you on YouTube, you crazy people, you got to check this out early. The YouTube video will be up though, so if anybody asks, we can let
Holding
them know.
strong at double digits. I don't think we've gone below double-digit viewers anytime we've been
They
broadcasting.
all just fell asleep.
That's never correct.
Of course,
by
you
the
know,
way.
3 of the
Yeah,
viewers
yeah.
are you guys checking it on your
Yeah,
devices.
we've got more people. Yeah. So anyway, all right. Well, thanks for listening, folks. Tomorrow's last AV3. Our actual schedule is a little lighter than normal, but I'm sure we'll. Everybody thinks so. Usually Thursday is kind of the empty day there. A lot of the industry people have gone home, and Thursday used to be awesome. My personal
Feeling.
prediction, God, that's how tired I am, is it's going to suck tomorrow because none of those yellow badges are going to go home.
They got to get their shit in.
Got to get more swag. They're going to start giving swag away. They got to get rid of it.
I gotta get that PlayStation app to work.
Yeah. Yeah, well. All right, well, thanks much, folks. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Get out there, make some puns. Have a great one.
God damn it.
You are now awake.
Get out there, play some games. Have a great one. You might get 2 podcasts tomorrow night. Talk to you later. Bye. Now I got to get up and stop all this shit.
I was waiting for Josh to get his, delayed buy.
He's too cool for that shit.
You can't do that with those shades.
But he's got to believe.
Just peace
Oh,
out.
okay.
Drop the mic. On the-
do that Thursday night.
There we go.
String it together as one hour 15-minute episode.
We're still on YouTube.
I don't think I'm putting it out like that this year.
Gotta be nice to the YouTube people. Give them something before it goes over.
Give him M.